Brady, Fox News. Former President Trump's reaction after a hearing on possible gag order violations in his New York criminal trial.
Prosecutors detailed Mr. Trump's Truth Social and campaign website postings and Mr. Trump's after-court comments, accusing the former president of willfully violating the judge's gag order, calling his attacks, quote, a real threat. But Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, countered by saying his client was only responding to attacks on him, attacks from Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels. But at one point, the judge said, quote, Mr. Blanche, you are losing credibility with the court.
Fox's Eric Shawn at State Supreme Court in Lower Manhattan. The former president is accused of 11 violations. No ruling from the judge yet. Instead, testimony is resumed in the hush money-related case with the former publisher of the National Enquirer on the stand for a second day. Settlements just announced with more than 100 people who accused the FBI of mishandling allegations of sexual assault against then-sports doctor Larry Nassar, allowing him to abuse many more people before his arrest. He's now in prison. The Justice Department says the allegations should have been taken seriously from the beginning and that the agreements, totaling nearly $139 million, will settle administrative claims. Combined with other settlements, about $1 billion set aside for hundreds of survivors. They're not all students. That message from New York City Police and Mayor Eric Adams after arrests of pro-Palestinian protesters on college campuses.
There are people who come, have nothing to do with the issue, and they want to aggravate. Now, if those police officers didn't show a high level of discipline, this could have been an ugly situation.
Protesters marched to NYPD headquarters last night after police in riot gear cleared a tent encampment at NYU, arresting more than 100 people. At school had requested their help. America is listening to Fox News.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder going through our Tuesday afternoon as a cool front slides by. 70 for the high. Tonight, the winds turn to the northwest, clearing skies. Chilly, 45 degrees. Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny. Wednesday's the coolest of the week, but it's a real pretty day on Wednesday with a high of 68. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot afternoon shower, and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Don't pay retail for your diamond engagement ring or gift. Come to CleanOrigin.com, where experts in ecologically friendly lab-grown diamonds. Mention code RADIO10 for 10% off. That's CleanOrigin.com online or one of our retail stores.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Wow, back again, the Manny Fry Show. Woo! I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie. Brad Ryan, how are you? Good to see you again.
I'm well. How are you?
It's so funny, Ryan, because I reached out to you, a couple days ago and just said, hey, I've heard from you in a while. How's it going? Lo and behold, I think, 2 days later, we're on the show together. We didn't even know this was going to happen.
That. There's so much going on. And it's hard sometimes to prioritize what you think are going to be, okay, we're going to start the show with this because it's the biggest story. Do we talk about Trump in the courtroom? Do we talk about the campuses and the protests that are going on there? Do we talk about something completely different? Later in the show, I was hoping that you can try to explain to me the appeal of the new Taylor Swift album. So we'll get to that too. And I know people hate it when you criticize Taylor Swift. So don't worry, that'll be on the show too. You can hate me. We're also going to try to, I'm going to tell you about a story at work. I learned about some eating habits of people I work with that are truly bizarre. And they're calling me a food shamer because I shame them for the foods that they eat. And I'll let you guys decide if I'm in the wrong here. But either way, there's so much going on. You have the YouTube live chat poll going on. What's the poll for today?
The poll is, sorry, I had to pull it up. Do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? And there are a number of options. Yes for both, yes for Ukraine, yes for Israel, or just a flat no.
Okay. And we're seeing some people in the comments now already putting that out there. So that is great. So some of these protests that are going on in campus, I wanted to start here because it's so fascinating because the way that it's covered, depending on where you are and what's going on with the protest. For example, I'm here in Michigan. University of Michigan had a protest themselves, and we covered it on our news station. And the way that the news station covered it was, this is going on, but as of right now, it's peaceful. Now, it's not like that in all the other campuses. I don't exactly know the best takeaway for something like this. It doesn't surprise me something like this is going on. But what are you going to accomplish setting up a tent city on a college campus to try to protest your views? Do you actually accomplish anything? In their minds, what do they think's going to happen when all of this goes down?
Well, I think that the answer to that, and I'll tell a quick little story here. There was, and I don't remember the issue, and that's kind of the point of the story, is that here in Missouri, on the University of Missouri's campus a few years ago. Something was going on that was getting some media attention because it was the soup du jour of the day. And the people protesting were all about the media. They were, the media's here, and so they're protesting, and they were doing all these sit-ins and hunger strikes and whatever it was. I literally cannot remember what the point of it was, because the minute something else happened, I think there was a theater shooting, and we're talking about years ago now. The media moved on. And I remember our local media was still there covering it, but the national media was gone. And the student protesters got so mad that they started protesting the local media. They started protesting against them because they thought this was the only point that we were doing this, was to get this attention.
Right.
And it's got to be similar, that because it's such a hot issue right now, it's just going to keep growing. I think we addressed this the other day. Is this going to stop? No, probably not, because it's the issue of the moment.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I look at this, and Ryan's right. What they want is eyes on their cause. I don't know that it's having the effect that they want it to have. I mean, I guess there's the idea that all publicity is good publicity. But man, they're looking really bad preventing Jewish students from entering into college, into their classes, or from getting to their dorms. Some of the chants that are going on, where they're actually yelling out their support for Hamas and not just Palestine. There's a lot of stuff there. I mean, blocking bridges, blocking the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, that doesn't make people like sympathetic to your cause. It makes them angry at you.
In a lot of ways, it's interchangeable in some ways in what they're supporting, and they don't really know the difference. And remember, just a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we had that issue where protesters on college campuses would basically do the same stunt when there would be a conservative speaker that would be coming to the campus. They would protest, they would prevent conservatives or anyone that is not sympathetic to their, small demographic of people they agree with, and they would either shout the people down or refuse them to come on campus. There was that one case where the one professor wouldn't even be allowed to come on campus. They prevented the professor from coming on because he challenged some of their thoughts. And I look at too maybe some of the irony that's going on, because the Supreme Court is looking at that case when it comes to homelessness and people setting up tent cities. And this has been debated before to the Supreme Court, but also when you have no other place to go, are you allowed to set up tents on the sidewalk, or is that cruel and unusual punishment, perhaps, if you tell them they have to leave and they have no other place to go when they're in an open public place? And it's so funny because they're out there in a public place setting up tents at the same time they're debating homelessness and if they should be allowed to do that. And it's totally unrelated. So if I was a reporter at this time, I would go out there and I would say, so tell me, why are you supporting the homeless at this time? And they would have no idea what's going on this because they're just doing something completely different.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit too. And we keep coming back to the same point. I think that you're sort of generally making here is that a lot of the people protesting don't really know what they're doing. They are chanting. They're saying that doesn't mean that it makes it okay. It just means that it's the same groups of people that show up at these protests over and over and over, depending on the cause. And it's different year to year. It's the people who show up for the pink hat rallies. We've talked about those. Some of the BLM stuff, some of the racial stuff. Whatever it is at the moment, it's a lot of the same people showing up for these things. And because of that, it's like they're both professional protesters, because there probably is some money coming in from unnamed sources here supporting these things. And then also that they're perpetual protesters because it satisfies them. And they don't really care what they're protesting. They just know that it's something in them that feels validated when they feel a part of the thing, whatever the thing is.
Oh, so cult-like.
Very much, actually, very much.
Yeah, but I think there's something deeper there. It's like this desire to make a difference and to be part of something that's bigger than what you are. And they really don't see that in this world. It's something that's been taken from them, so they latch on to whatever the cause du jour is, and they just go with it.
You remember when you were younger, I don't know if your dad's ever had that talk with you. And,
Yeah.
they would.
I just had that talk.
Oh, man, what a rude awakening after 2 kids, huh, to learn that. But no, not the birds and the bees talk, but the red flags type of deals like, okay, if the girl is this or that, or, dads, you have this talk with your daughter. If the guys are like this, these are the red flags. And if you think about how innocent the red flags were just like 20, 30 years ago, well, if the person doesn't open up your door or doesn't tip or treats the waiter poorly, oh boy, those are some red flags that the person you're with may be not all that great. Now the red flags are, well, if they put on that pink hat and they
Yeah.
are out in a tent city talking about the eradication of the Jews, that's a red flag. You're going to want to stay away from them. They're making it a lot easier to point out at this point. And I don't even know where you go from here, honestly. Can we play that one clip from Representative Lawler? It's basically a representative out of New York. And
No, they're 100% right. And I believe these institutions should expel the students that have engaged in violence of any kind or anti-Semitic threats targeting Jewish students. It's one thing to protest. It's one thing to voice your disagreement with policies by the United States or Israel. It's a whole nother thing to call for the eradication of the Jewish people. And there needs to be consequences. I mean, look at one of my colleagues, Ilhan Omar, her daughter now claiming, oh, I didn't realize I'd be homeless and without food because I got expelled. I mean, there are consequences to actions. And that's what some of these folks don't seem to understand. You can't call for the eradication of Jews and think everything is going to be just okay because you're entitled to free speech. You're not entitled to make threats against people.
Yeah. And how much do you see of that? And honestly, I think about where I'm at too. I'm in the Metro Detroit area and we're in the heart of Dearborn. And we've seen some pretty terrible ways people have been treated in Dearborn. And a lot of times it either could be faith related, if you don't perhaps agree with the Muslim faith, Islamic faith, I should say. In some cases, if you are on a college campus right now, should you have to feel like because you are a Jew or maybe you support Jews, that you are allowed to get shouted down, harassed, or maybe even abused while you're there, to the point where these college campuses recognize that this threat is so real that they have to cancel in-person classes to opt for virtual classes because they're afraid of the safety of the people around them. And the protesters that are sitting out there right now are thinking, oh, no, it's everyone else's wrong. I should be allowed to harass these people as part of my free speech to go out there and hurt other people. No, I don't think so. I just don't know what their definition of free speech is if they think that's qualified.
Yeah, and this is a moment that conservatives should be talking about free speech, not just when we're the ones being censored. This is a moment where you go, okay, let's define the parameters here because this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
It's the left all the time that's saying hate speech isn't free speech. And it's like, man, if you're calling for the eradication of an entire race of people, that would fall under hate speech. And by your own standards, hate speech isn't free speech. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to say that. I'm not saying that, but that's kind of like, it's the hypocrisy that you get from the left. We can say whatever we want because in our minds or in our hearts, we believe that we're the good guy. We believe that we're on the right side of history. And therefore, we get to do whatever we want because, the ends justifies the means.
Yeah. Can't we hear some of those chants from the Yale students too? Do you have some of those?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen.
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!
That's a lot of people out there. Too, huh? It's amazing. Can they put that on their resume when they try to graduate and go out into the real world? I'm really good at getting people to chant nonsense. Like if you need someone to come in here and just get your workers in line, I can put a great chant together for everyone in the office. You think that's going to be something they'll push and try to use it when they apply for jobs?
You know what, Ryan? I think I know what you're getting at here, but you're viewing this all wrong. they are professional students. They'll never get a job. They'll never have to graduate. They're going to be in college for the next decade and
Why
also
leave
probably getting
when
paid for it.
Yeah, why leave when everything's paid for you and they're going to forgive it anyway?
Yeah, they're going to forgive you loans. It doesn't matter. Just rack it up, man.
The ultimate life hack. I'm just going to live on campus forever. They'll just keep forgiving my college
They're paying me to
loans.
make these chants, just like that conservative host in St. Louis said.
From the rivers to the sea. It's so funny because we had a reporter here, and I give him all the credit in the world. He went to one of these protests where they're chanting this, and he flat out asked them, do you want to see Israel eradicated? And they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, it wasn't even like a thing they thought about for a second to be careful of how they answered it. They're
Right.
like, oh, yeah, we want to see them gone, wiped off the planet. And it's so funny, too. You see with Iran and some of these other countries that have enabled Hamas and have supported them financially and with weapons to go and eradicate Jews. And then all of a sudden, Israel is upset because, hey, Iran, why are you giving Hamas all this support to come kill us? And they react to that. And all of a sudden, Israel's the bad guys for, how could you had no business with Iran there. Yeah, right. You were the ones providing them with all of this to begin the attacks. There's so much that goes on with this. Can I say I kind of relate to Alec Baldwin? Before we go to break, I just got to say, did you see the video with him trying to get a coffee and someone sticks a camera in his face?
Oh, man.
And let's play this real quick if we could.
Alec, can you please say free Palestine one time? Why did you kill that lady? You killed that lady and got no jail time? No jail time, Alec? No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin.
Alec
Free
Baldwin.
Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say free Palestine one time. One time. One time. One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. Come on, Alec, just say free Palestine one time.
Oh,
One
boy, she's
time,
so
just one
annoying.
time, please, and I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine.
He's trying to get her out.
Please say it.
She's like, please leave, please leave.
One time.
Oh, so annoying. All right, there's another red flag. If someone sticks a camera in your face or anyone else's face and tries to force them to say something you want them to say, son, that's another huge red flag. You don't hang out with those people.
No kidding. You're a horrible person. I hate you. You're a criminal. Say what I want you to say, and I'll leave you alone.
You're so terrible.
For my cause.
I mean, and she's like, you killed someone, Alec Baldwin. Say what I want you to say. She's lucky she didn't get shot by Alec Baldwin if she knows his history. She's out there harassing him. Oh, what a time to live. All right. Can I say, I want to talk about this one defense that's going on here in St. Louis. This guy, poor guy, he didn't know what he was doing, hunting and intentionally killing a police officer. So we better let him off the hook. This is such complete nonsense. Can we talk about this after the break? I'm Ryan Renker, filling in for Annie Fry on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I always talk about all the things that Sean and Kristen with Rapid Rental Renovations can do for you if you have rental houses. I always forget to mention that it's not just when a tenant moves out that you need to clean that place up and get it fixed up and back on the market quickly. It's also if you're buying rehabs, they can come in like I am and give you a great bid on doing everything that you need. And you can pick and choose. You don't have to do the whole thing. They'll give you an itemized bid at Rapid Rental Renovations. Sean and Kristen, they came out and I just pointed at things. I said, this, and this. And they sent me a bid. It's great. Lock changes, blinds, doors, hardware, rental property clean out, of course they do, and contractor coordination if you need roofs and big stuff, all the way down to little stuff. They are your best bet. Rapid Rental Renovations. Here's their website. It's murphycleanoutservices.com. So obviously they can do all the clean out for you, but they do all the other stuff too, and at a great price. murphycleanoutservices.com.
You know, most people never get to sit down with elected officials and ask them about the important issues. I'm Judge Mike Carter, and that's exactly why I host the news talk program Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter. My goal is to bring those who represent us closer to the people they serve. I ask the questions you would in a no-nonsense manner. That's why we've been able to interview so many top local, state, and federal officials, because as a judge, I offer an unbiased, one-on-one conversation that's hard to find elsewhere these days. Besides serving as judge, I have a journalism degree, which is how the name of the show, Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, evolved. You never know who we'll interview next, from Governor Parson to prosecutors, sports figures to Missouri business leaders. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com. That's MikeCarter.com.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation, because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, I'm Libby, and I'm a patient at Cardinal Clinic. With your help, Homers for Health can make a huge impact on my hospital. From new spaces to new treatments, a difference is being made for patients every single day. Glenn and kids like me owe everything to people like you. Please make your pledge for patients today at homersforhealth.org. Thank you so much for your support. Again, that's homersforhealth.org.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in. And boys, it's fun being with you here today for the couple of hours. I hope Annie feels better and things go back on track. But whenever I get that opportunity to come on to the airwaves here on 97.1, I hop on that opportunity because it's so much fun and I really do enjoy it. So thank you for having me, by the way.
Yeah, always a great time.
I wanted to look at a couple of stories here in St. Louis, and there's that one story about the person that killed a police officer. And I remember this story when I was working there, and I remember, wow, cold-blooded. They were sitting in their car. Someone just came up and shot them, and the person's finally going to trial. And they say, oh, no, we admit it, but you have to just excuse his actions because, people don't think straight when they do crazy things like kill police officers. So that's an excuse. In fact, that is something we're going to have to use as our main defense at this point. And I got to say, I hope people don't buy this nonsense, and I don't want people to get off the hook because I think in the world today, we blame so much on mental health issues, that we were even willing to sympathize with someone that killed a police officer to say, oh, no, that's okay, we'll let this one go, is not the type of justice I want. And can we play KSDK? They were covering this the other night.
Officer Tamaris Bohannon was just 29 years old when he was gunned down by a man who had barricaded himself in a stranger's home in the Tower Grove South neighborhood. It was August of 2020. Kenworthy's public defenders are arguing he should be found not guilty by reason of mental defect. Now, law experts tell us that's a high bar to meet.
I'm going to tell you something that the defense doesn't normally say in an opening statement. We admit it. We admit that Tommy did the things that night. What happened that night is simply not in dispute. What we're here for is why it happened. And the reason why these things happened that night is because Tommy suffers from a serious mental illness, a mental illness called schizoaffective disorder.
So when we're up against someone that's done something terrible and their main defense is, well, mental health is what caused it, so we need to use this as the defense. What do you guys think? Are you buying it? Are you going to sympathize with the person that killed the cop?
No.
No, it should. It should be as simple as that. Nope, we're done.
No.
Close the case.
I mean, these kind of cases, if you know somebody who really genuinely has mental health issues, you know that that exists. You know that there could be some motivation for it that doesn't make any sense outside of the person's brain. So I'm not saying that those things don't exist. I am saying that there still has to be full culpability for them. You can't just say, well, this is the way my brain works, and then, well, okay, then I guess you don't really get a sentence or you get a super light sentence. It just doesn't work that way. There's still consequences for your actions.
Well, the thing about it is you've got to ask yourself a question. Okay, let's say this person does seriously have a mental health issue. Is this person a danger to themselves or others? And his lawyer said right there, yes, he did this. So he was obviously a danger to somebody else. He was a danger to others. So like Ryan's saying, okay, maybe you don't go to prison, but you are definitely institutionalized and imprisoned in a way that you can get treatment for your mental health disorder while also not being a threat to the public.
Oh, I'd be fine with him going to prison too. I mean, I have no question about that. And today, I think we're so sympathetic to the person that commits some of the most heinous crimes, in this case, killing a police officer, completely innocent, that we are so willing to forget about the people that have been victimized. We're going to say, you know what? Your problems as the victim and what's left behind after someone completely destroyed your life, we sympathize with the person that started all of this more than you. And we have to stop doing that if we're going to stop any of this nonsense from happening. And on top of that, I mean, what reputation does St. Louis have normally when it comes to prosecuting people that deserve to be in jail? Well, we've gone through some pretty terrible years in St. Louis where we saw the consequences of that, where we're just going to drop the charges, or we're going to let them out of jail, or we're too busy to take this case up, or we're just not going to retry this person. And the people just go on and on and on and on, recommitting the same crimes, ruining other people's lives over and over again. And they do it with the guys that were we're not sympathetic enough to the person that's out there shooting police officers. So we need to show more sympathy. I just don't buy that line of logic. And I think we have to stand so much stronger with the victims of these crimes. And we have to show them we stand with them by not allowing things like this.
Yeah, the concept of showing mercy to somebody is not a bad concept. It's just not really the role of law enforcement and of prosecutors to do that.
You don't want to show them mercy if they're not actually repentant of what they did.
Well, that too, but we get into a situation now where when you lead with just let's show broad mercy, like the deep blue areas of the country, the cities are leading with let's try to find out why this person did this, instead of let's all acknowledge first that the thing that the person did was wrong. How do we stop that kind of thing from continuing to happen in general, but also in specific, this person from doing that thing ever again? That needs to be where you start. Then you can do all kinds. You can figure out because I don't know the details of this case to say whether, he probably is mentally insane or whatever. He might be completely fine. They're using that as a defense. He also might have serious mental problems. again, the point of the case really isn't the purpose. It's the way we're approaching all cases with the idea that we want to try to find that thing that makes us understand this person more. You can't start at that point.
Well, we can understand why they got there, but that doesn't excuse the behavior that they did. And again, you get them help or you lock them away, but you can't leave them on the streets.
Absolutely. And imagine the family sitting there. Now, he was married, he had 3 kids, sitting in the courtroom and looking directly at his widowed wife and his now fatherless 3 children, looking at them and saying, you know, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to look at this beautiful face of this family, but I'm still going to side on the person that killed your father. And I just don't know the type of person that would be able to do that. And that's why I can never be a lawyer. I know some people are forced to defend certain people and come up with the best defense they can. I just can't. It makes me wonder too, why it took so long to get this person to go to trial to begin with. This was what, 4 years ago almost? That's a long time to wait to put someone to trial. And a lot of things could happen between now and then. How do we know what his state was back in 4 years ago? Who knows? Any of this stuff may have been triggered after the fact, and now they're using it as an excuse after the fact. I think that's a question that probably needs to be asked too. Can I ask you about red light cameras coming back to St. Louis? This is so stupid. I hate red light cameras.
Oh, no, I didn't know about this.
Apparently, they're making a comeback. I saw Fox 2 did a story about it. Essentially, the aldermen got together and they said, oh, you know what? This is going to solve all of our problems. Red light cameras. Do people still drive crazy in St. Louis? I'm just curious. I haven't been there in a couple of years.
Oh, no, it's all solved.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
it's great.
It's great. So I don't
It's a
even know why
utopia.
we need these red light cameras. Everything's fine.
Charlie Brennan took this all the way to the Missouri Supreme Court and won. One of the reasons why it went away what was it, 2000? What year was that? 17, 16? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But basically, the idea was you need to, if you're driving a car, you need someone to represent the person that is putting this offense against you, and the cameras didn't qualify for that. That's basically a simplified way of looking at it. It was successful. Beavis Schock, I think, took that all the way to the Missouri Supreme Court and won. I would like to talk to him again and see what he thinks about this, if they're already mounting some sort of legal challenge to what the aldermen are putting together. But the idea of the red light cameras, to me, is just so stupid. All it is another way for the government to harass you, because all these violent people that are like blatantly drag racing down the streets of St. Louis, that are, driving up on curbs, nearly hitting pedestrians. And we're not talking about someone that just, hit a red light. We're talking about people that like purposely swerve around cars in the left-hand lane to go around other cars at a red light. Here's what's going to happen. None of those people are going to face consequences because, one, they don't have the plates on their car to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
And number two, there's no police officer there to enforce it. So what's going to happen there? You're just going to see a bunch of people that may be going to St. Louis downtown for a moment. They're like, okay, well, I've heard things aren't as bad as they say downtown. And then they get hit with 2 red light cameras because they, accidentally didn't see something because they were looking around and, didn't want to hit someone else because they were driving like nuts. And then they get their car broken into while they're down here too. That's the welcoming mat that downtown St. Louis has to you right now.
Yeah, the people going to pay these fines are the people who pay their fines.
Yeah.
not the people who always are breaking the law. I guess
you're right.
This probably comes from, because it was a pretty big local story. The intersection where there were like 10 cars in a row.
Yeah.
That just blew through a stop sign or a red light.
Was it over by Crown Candy?
It was. It was very dangerous. And I don't remember if somebody got hurt or somebody almost got hurt, but it's constantly happening. And so I think this is probably a reaction to that, which isn't a bad thing, that they're saying, look, we can't just keep allowing lawlessness. But if they're going against the Missouri Supreme Court, then you are lawless. You can't just do that.
That was going to be my question. It's like, well, if the Missouri Supreme Court has already ruled against this as unconstitutional, how are you going to implement this again? And maybe the answer isn't necessarily red light cameras. Maybe the answer is police officers on the streets enforcing the traffic laws. Ryan, you said this. Half of these people don't have license plates on their car, or they're the temp tags from like 2021 or something like that. The other day, I was in O'Fallon, Illinois. And somebody had a piece of cardboard taped to their back window with a license plate number written on it. Like, it wasn't even official. I've got a picture of this in my phone. I'm not kidding.
Oh, great.
But my thing is like, so this person that does that, they run a red light and you mail them a ticket? Okay. They're not going to show up for that.
I know. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the way they get around it. They say there is going to be someone monitoring all the red lights. So when something's triggered, there will be human intervention that then decides if they're going to send you a ticket or not. But let me say this real quick, going back to Wiggins, what you said. So the people that are going to pay this are the people that are going to pay this. These are the ones that are normally law-abiding citizens. The people that are not going to pay this, can I just look into my crystal ball and tell you what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
They are going to pile up ticket after ticket, and then they're going to cry, oh, I can't afford all of these tickets. I can't work. You can't jail me for this. And then through the great, wonderful aldermen and all the compassion we have in the city, they're going to take the people that have piled this up and they're just going to put a mass amnesty and forgive all of these old tickets from people that don't pay it anyway. You know, oh, you can't take my car away because I can't pay this. Oh, you can't jail me because I can't pay this. I'm going to miss work. It's a vicious cycle. Okay, fine. We're going to forgive all of these tickets that you should have been paying to begin with. Everyone else will be paying it. Everyone else will be paying the price. But the people that would normally be breaking these laws purposely anyway are going to get away with it anyway, either by not having a license plate or registration or just waiting it out long enough and realize there's no consequences for doing it anyway. It's so stupid.
All that's hypothetical because we don't have these problems in St. Louis anyway, like we said at the beginning
Wonderful place.
of the segment.
It's a utopia.
Yeah, I know that you haven't driven these roads in a while, but they're good. They're smooth now.
Yeah, no potholes.
Yeah, there's very little crime. They've taken all those big flower pots they'd put at the end of some roads.
Yeah,
they've taken those away because we don't even need them anymore. You can go anywhere you want because it's all safe all the time.
Right. No drag racing. No sadness.
Well,
no
there
sorrow.
actually is no drag racing because there's no people. there's no action, like nothing's happening. It's kind of
what was it? The ride of the century has turned into the ride of the millennium. They're just they decided to stop doing it so often.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we're done. We're just done with all the lawlessness. No cars are getting broken into. Nobody's getting robbed. Everyone's great. People are coming downtown and shopping and spending their money. No one's worried about their safety. St. Louis has just turned around. That's all we needed. All right, Wiggins America, excuse me. It's one of my favorite segments, and I can't wait to do that after the break. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in on 97.1 FM Talk.
I don't want to dissect everything today. I don't mean to pick you apart, you see, but I can't.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Traffic law counselors is where we go when the police hassle us. Go to 45bucks.com.
This is Mike Carter, founder of 45bucks.com, or as you know it, Traffic Law Counselors. And right now, around tax time, we know folks are taking care of issues that they may have been putting off for a while. Maybe a driving while suspended or a warrant, things that you may have been worrying about for a little while. And we specialize in keeping folks' records clean. They come to us on a Monday, they can't drive, and by the end of that week on a Friday, we've got them back in the driver's seat driving legally. quickly, and that's very gratifying. And God forbid you're wrestling with something like a DWI, you can go to DWISTL.com. We got 10 paralegals and attorneys that are working on those cases nonstop, and depositions, trials, hearings, and we can put that to work for you as well. In fact, it's the enduring success of traffic law counselors that has enabled us to be the preeminent DWI attorneys in St. Louis at DWISTL.com. So now you know, if you have a traffic matter, it's $45bucks.com. If you've got a DWI issue, it's DWISTL.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hello, my name is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, where you can find us online at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com. Do you have a house that you'd like to sell as is and not deal with the market? Maybe you have a tenant not paying the rent or a house in disrepair and you want a simple solution for your sale? We've been in business for over 88 years and we've helped thousands of people sell their house in as-is condition with no middleman involved. Reach out today at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com, and receive an offer today.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day is, do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? Yes for both, yes for Ukraine, yes for Israel, or no. Those are your four choices. There's a lot to discuss here, and we'll talk about it throughout the day here on the Annie Fry Show. Annie out today, Ryan Recker filling in. Wiggins America coming up next. It is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Patriot Training Foundation trains law enforcement and military at the region's top facility free of charge. Kim Sainanj here. We're raising awareness for the Patriot Training Foundation's mission to serve those who serve our nation. Visit 971talk.com/care to learn more.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
And welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Always good to have some time with you here today, but when I do fill in, there's two things I look forward to. On Fridays, I look forward to the custom intro. And any other time, I look forward to this segment, Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Yep, it's the best segment in all of radio in the country, as I've been told by Annie. Like, that's what she tells me. Definitely not putting words in her mouth.
People tell me.
Yeah.
Make sure you do accordion hands when you say that.
It's fun to attribute quotes to Annie when she's not here. So I'm going to continue to do that.
You know she listens, right?
Let's not worry about that for now. We'll worry about that tomorrow.
I don't have to worry about it at all.
So this is a kid, I guess. It's not kid because, Leah, you're our Gen Z representative. You're not a kid.
Am I a kid?
You're not really a kid. He's about your age.
You're kiddish.
Yeah. Well.
He's 20. So
yeah, no.
He's an adult,
I'm
technically.
about to turn 27, so.
So you're not a kid. But he's 20 years old. He lives in Virginia. He's going viral for complaining about the amount of work he's doing and the amount of money he's making.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first blush, my reaction was, here we go. Kid on TikTok complaining about working too much.
I was like, so he's every American.
Yep. You're like, this band couldn't come quick enough.
Exactly. So I looked into it a little bit more and found out actually some of the things he's saying aren't just because he's young and doesn't want to work. In fact, it seems like he's fine working. He just doesn't want to have to work 90 hours a week to get the things that should be standard of living that we've kind of come to expect in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so with our Gen Z representative, Leah, here, I wanted to go through some of the things, the claims that he made, see if they apply to you, but also see if they apply to the rest of us too, because some of what he's hitting is just economic problems. And they're kind of general things, okay? So don't think this is going to blow your mind, but some people do have problems with this. He says that he actually was interviewed by Fox News. He works in the car industry. He said he earns 3 times the federal minimum wage, which admittedly is very low. It's $7.25, but that would mean he makes roughly $21 to $22 an hour.
That's not bad.
That is not bad. That's not bad money. Yet he claimed he couldn't even afford to rent a 1-bedroom apartment.
Oh,
Where's he live?
It doesn't say where he lived. I don't know that he was very keen to share that, but he did say that in his eyes, the American dream is dead. He said it's over, it's gone and forgotten. And here's why, and some of the things that he's saying. Here's what I've had to do. It's not necessarily what I want to be doing, but it's what everybody has to do to just get by now. He said first, and this isn't again, blow your mind stuff, stick to a budget. Is this something that we all are fine? Nobody has trouble with this in the room, right? Sticking to a budget. Is this an area of contention for you, Leah?
I'm actually.
I love how you went to her first.
Well, yeah, he's
coming to you next, Ryan.
Yeah. I don't honestly have much experience in that yet because I still live at home with my parents.
Okay.
Which I won't be much longer, but so that'll be my first crack at budgeting. I'll have to learn.
I would say start now.
Yeah.
Just start getting the practice in the habit. Yeah.
Is this something that you're moving out soon apparently? Has it been tough to find a place because rents are so high?
So I got really lucky when I was getting ready to move out and wanting to look places. My friend from our gym was actually looking for a house and was looking for a roommate. So it was
perfect.
Perfect. So I did not have trouble. And she's willing, she understands my job situation here, and she's willing to work with my, whatever I've got going on to help with rent. So I am very lucky.
That's great.
I know I'm the exception.
Ryan, Brad, do you guys have trouble sticking to a budget before we move
My
on?
wife and I have a budget, and that's what we do. We just budget stuff.
How intense about it are you, though,
Kids.
Ryan Recker?
Kids, man. What are you going to do? Kids throw the budget off. That is completely, you think you got it all figured out, and then next thing you know, kids, man, that changes everything. We do fine. It's not like we are going crazy with money. I mean, we're very modest, and I like to look at myself as very frugal, and I've been accused of being very cheap. So I think that offsets a lot of the problems we have.
Yeah, I'm also very modest in dress. I don't show off a lot of
no
what
ankles.
I have to show off. Here's another one that this guy says. He says, quote, "I didn't go to college because the price of student loans are ridiculous." Bad move, because you might have been forgiven by the administration. just milk that cow for all it's worth. Even after college, I would still have to pay off those loans and be stuck in a hard spot like every other American is right now. Again, this is sort of old news, but he says paying down debt at a faster rate is one of the best things that he's learned to do. Is this a priority for you?
Paying down debt at a faster rate?
Yes.
Yes. Attacking debt. Debt can be very bad.
Oh, yeah. And I remember when I had student loans, that was a high priority, try to get that down as fast as I could. There was times when I thought, I had things figured out. And then next thing you know, what was the Obama car thing? The cash for clunkers came around. I ended up buying my first brand new car because of that. I had a clunker, and I said, oh, this might be a good opportunity for me to get a car, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand off. And I did. So I added more debt at that time, and then I paid it off quicker. And just like my student loans, I aggressively tried to pay things off. Now, admittedly, it was a lot easier to do these things when the interest rates were a lot lower. Today, it's insane how much harder it is to pay off debt when the interest rates are so high. Like the mortgage we have on our house is the only debt our family actually has. And I would be making so much more progress on this thing if I didn't have such a high interest rate that I had to force myself into when we moved up here to Michigan and had to start over again.
Yeah, and the interest rates are forcing people to stay where they're at longer, too, instead of upgrade, because you can't afford to leave your low interest rate. It's actually related to one of the last things he says here. He said to Fox News that his parents and grandparents, and we hear this refrain a lot, were able to buy homes decades ago despite making significantly less, even adjusted for inflation, than he does now. He added the necessary caveat about inflation. but he's still upset that many people can't afford rent or buying houses.
Yeah.
But can I just say real quick?
Please.
So he's the one giving this advice?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm broke. I can't afford to live anywhere, so take my advice on life. Why would we listen to him?
Well, you know what, though? He's hitting on things that I think everybody is hitting on, even though and that's one of the reasons I said, Leah, you got to come in for this one, because it's going to hit people at the Gen Z level, the people who are just entering the economy, worse than those of us who've been a part of the economy for a little bit longer, because you have less to build on.
The housing market is so crazy right now that even somebody that's established like myself, it would be hard for my wife and I to find a different house to move and to change our situation. I mean, thankfully, we're happy with where we live and all of that other stuff. But to try to find a house in this market, it's terrible.
My friend is struggling to find a house right now. I mean, she's looking everywhere, and she's just, so I mean, I'm not going to be moving out soon, but
because I do real estate, I hear a lot of stats and stuff, and one of those that I've heard recently that I'm like, that is a huge cause of the problems we're experiencing right now, is that we haven't been building houses at fast enough rate for the last 10 plus years. And the reason for that is, get this, and this number is a few years old, just to build a new house, you're already talking about roughly $80,000 in just sort of government boxes that you have to check. Restrictions, regulations on all the ways you have to build a house that you didn't before.
Well, for example, in Illinois, you have to put an EV charger in any new construction.
Yeah, supposedly. That kind of stuff adds to the cost. I mean, that one's ridiculous. But even things that we would mostly agree on, it all raises the price of houses. And it is different by state. It's different by region.
Here's a couple of things he needs to point out, this guy. Number one, there's a reason for this. And if anyone has any understanding of what it was like just even 4 years ago, call it for what it is. Bidenomics is what you're describing, is why you're having such a hard time. So call it for that. Number two, I think sometimes people get into their mind that they have the freedom to do what they want and live wherever they want. So they have the privilege of having this dream lifestyle before they reach the point where they can afford the dream. So they feel slighted when they don't start off with the dream. So what this guy is doing is working towards a lot of different things, but he doesn't realize it was a lot easier to hit that dream 4 years ago. And you may have hit it quicker if it wasn't for Joe Biden.
Yeah, your money has been devalued tremendously in the last 3 years. It just doesn't go as far, and it's why everything costs so much. So his last little piece of advice was to invest your spare change. Now, you can go beyond that, of course, but if you have a little, he's saying save it and invest it and let it make money for you. There you go.
All right. The Manny Fry Show. I'm Ryan Recker filling in for Annie Fry. Don't go anywhere on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Calling all bobblehead collectors and animal lovers. This is one you won't want to miss. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, May 4th, when the Cardinals host the Chicago White Sox and the 19th annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a bobblehead of Adam Wainwright with his lovable retirement gift, his new pup Louie, courtesy of Purina. For full details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Adam Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Fashionistas, be ready. The high-demand Cardinals Purse giveaway returns to Busch Stadium on Sunday, May 5th. That day, the Cardinals host the White Sox, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home an exclusive Cardinals purse, courtesy of Edward Jones. This tan handbag features a gold medal chain and a mystery bonus strap. Following the game, kids 15 and younger can participate in the Haichu Kids Run the Bases. Full details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
Visit MikeCarter.com to see Mike's interviews with all of Missouri's elected leaders.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains and the richest farmland around, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A student walkout. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's happening at NYU, where New York City police cleared pro-Palestinian tent encampment last night, arresting more than 100 people after the school requested police help, citing intimidating chants and anti-Semitic incidents. Hundreds of NYU students beginning a walkout in the past hour.
This was all posted on social media called The Strike in Town Hall, saying walk out and strike and join us, trying to talk about what happened last night on their campus, saying they're going to call for a boycott of all Israeli academic institutions, and also saying the NYU campus must protect free speech.
Fox's Alexis McAdams at Columbia University, where the tent protest started last week. After switching to remote classes yesterday, Columbia is now offering hybrid classes for the rest of the semester. U.S. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona posting today that anti-Semitic hate on college campuses is unacceptable. President Biden campaigns in Florida this afternoon, while day 6 of former President Trump's hush money-related trial is set to wrap up in New York, ending early today for Passover observances after a second day of testimony from the former National Enquirer publisher. The Senate begins debate on a foreign aid package passed by the House, including support for Israel and Taiwan and another $61 billion in aid for Ukraine. Some conservatives criticize that as part of a blank check.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has pushed for months to win passage of money for Ukraine. McConnell lectured his adversaries today.
So much of the hesitation and short-sightedness that has delayed this moment is premised on sheer fiction.
The House approved 4 separate aid bills, then combined them into one. That means one final vote in the Senate.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. America is listening to Fox News.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation.
Dave Murray.
A couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder going through our Tuesday afternoon as a cool front slides by. 70 for the high. Tonight, the winds turn to the northwest, clearing skies. Chilly, 45 degrees. Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny. Wednesday's the coolest of the week, but it's a real pretty day on Wednesday with a high of 68. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot afternoon shower, and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because everybody needs an oasis. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000, that's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds for my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Liu because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Are you guys still on the Taylor Swift train? You guys enjoy Taylor Swift? I know Leah does, but I think, Brad, you like them too. Is the Annie Fry Show pro Taylor Swift? I can't remember.
I could not be more indifferent towards Taylor Swift. Like, I hear her music, and it's just like, it is what it is.
I think Annie Fry herself enjoys Taylor Swift music, but it's the conversation about her as a cultural phenomenon versus the music are almost two completely different things.
Oh, that's a very sophisticated way of looking at it, Ryan.
I know.
I like that.
I know Annie likes her as a businesswoman. She thinks that what she's accomplished as a businesswoman is pretty impressive, and I don't think you can argue against that.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. So she's got that new album out, The Tortured Poets Department, and the title itself makes me want to hate it immediately. I think
Yeah.
like, this is going to be so lame.
Yeah.
How old is she? Is she like 35, maybe something like that?
She's in her 30s.
In
but I
that
don't know.
zone. I was thinking early 30s. I don't know, though.
All right, let me see. Taylor Swift.
There's no way the internet has that answer.
34.
34.
Oh, hey, lo and behold.
She's 34. Just turned 34 a half a year ago.
Mid-30s.
All right, so she's mid-30s. At what point do you grow up and you're like, okay, Tortured Poets Department? All right, you're 34. you got to stop talking like you're 16 at some point in your life.
I think
doodling on your notebooks.
I think you keep doing it as long as it's paying the bills.
No, she stops at 35. This is the last one. The next one's got to be called
promised.
401k.
Growing up, yeah.
Talks about paying bills
Yeah.
and the weather changing, hurting her bones.
IRA versus 401k. Go. That's the name of the album.
Grown-up stuff. Oh, that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. And then all of the young Swifties would completely reject her. She doesn't talk to us anymore. But at some point, you got to grow up. So her album is just like shattering records, isn't it? Like people are just buying it left and right. I was looking at this one article on Billboard with 700,000 copies sold on vinyl in its first 3 days. It breaks Swift's own records of the biggest sales week for a vinyl album since 1991. How do these kids even know what vinyl is, the ones that are buying this?
Vinyl's back.
It's bigger than CDs now. For the first time this year or last year, vinyl sales outpaced CDs. Yeah.
Yeah, so like this particular album, I believe, is clear. So like if you go to Target and you buy the album, the record itself is clear. It's
It's Tortured Poets. It's transparent, just like her.
Oh my god!
You understand now? You understand?
I get it. I see what you're doing.
It's you hold it up to a mirror and you look in and you see your own tortured poet.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I have to try that tonight, right?
So deep, so deep.
Look, I can see myself, but just a little bit less. It's kind of like a wavy version
Mother
of
is
me.
so meta.
What about all of her fans that really can't take any criticism? Did you see that there was a magazine that was posting what they wanted to do, their honest review on the album, and they would not put the reviewer's name on there because they understood the Swift fans would send death threats to this person for not giving it a positive review?
I retract my previous statements. Taylor Swift is a national treasure.
Paste Magazine. Editor's note, there's no byline on this review due to how in 2019, when Paste reviewed Lover, the writer was sent threats of violence from readers who disagreed with the work. We care more about the safety of our staff than the name attached to an article.
Paste Magazine?
Paste.
Okay. That person's got to be happy somebody was paying attention.
Yeah, it worked, I guess, for Paste, right?
Hey, man, music is a matter of taste. It's a matter of taste. If somebody doesn't like the music that you like, okay, just okay, let them go. Let them not like it. You don't have to force somebody. It doesn't diminish your value in any way if somebody doesn't like the music that you like.
I disagree. Yeah. If you guys don't like Disturbed, then we have to fight.
But I do like Disturbed.
Oh, I was just kidding. Sorry.
Blur. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some presidents of the United States of America. You only listen to like 90s albums.
They Might Be Giants.
Uncle Cracker.
Man, and when you're really down, Collective Soul.
Soundgarden.
Yeah. Oh, Soundgarden, my man. I looked at the album cover, and it's Taylor Swift, and she's kind of like in this Renaissance kind of mode where she's kind of like twisted with her arm up on her chin and one arm over. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking again, red flag, son. Any girl that takes pictures like this on Instagram, you stay away from.
You know what, though? Any girl that your son is ever going to date is going to have those pictures by then. So you might have to change those standards because they're all going to be. In fact, they might have that exact pose because Taylor Swift did it.
Oh, please. No, thanks. You see, I have a daughter who's too young to understand all of this stuff. I don't think Taylor Swift's still going to be this popular. Like, you think she'll be able to sustain her popularity for another 10 years or 15 years in this space?
Only if she opens a theme park. She needs to open a theme park right now and become the next Dolly Parton.
I think it depends on how well 401k does whenever she releases that one.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's right. So I haven't heard any song on this album, and I was hoping that you might have an example of it so we can
I
listen
do.
to it together.
I got about a minute of Fortnite, which features Post Malone.
Like the video game?
No, it's the
No.
song.
I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic. All of this to say, I hope you're okay, but you're the reason. And no one here's to blame. But what about your quiet treason? And for a fortnight there we were, forever running to you. Sometimes ask about whoever, now you're in my
Okay.
backyard.
So basically, it sounds like all their other music with more reverb. Is that essentially it?
Yeah, it didn't really sound like anything I've never heard before.
What I've heard of this is most of the album is kind of slow, like this one is. There's only like one
Oh.
or two upbeat songs in it.
So it's like a high school dance.
I like the idea that
Basically,
she
they
would
play.
be doing all songs based on video games. Like that was Fortnite. Then next one's Super Smash Brothers.
You got Call of
Yeah.
Duty,
Call of
Mario
Duty,
Kart.
Excite Bike. Like do some real
Dr.
old
Mario.
games too. Metroid, Paper Boy.
Paperboy.
Oh,
Frogger.
Donkey Kong, yeah, Frogger.
She should just redo that album that was done in that vein. I can't remember the name of it. It was there was an album done in about 1981 that if I look up the name of it, people listening to this radio station go, "Oh, I know that." Somebody's going to put in the chat. It was all video games from like 1981.
Like Olivia Newton-John.
Pac-Man Fever.
Pac-Man
Fever.
yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Pac-Man Fever.
Yep, you got it.
Was that her that did that, or was it? I'm getting
No,
mixed
that
up.
the band was called Buckner and Garcia, and that's all they ever
That
did.
is a deep cut.
It's a
Ryan.
super deep cut, but I guarantee there are people in this listening audience who know exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, stop me if I'm wrong. Maybe this is a Simpsons gag, but did they play that at the Super Bowl? Like, was that live performed one year
It
at
could
a
be.
halftime show? Pac-Man
Maybe.
Fever.
Maybe like as part of an ensemble or something.
What am I thinking of?
I don't
thought
know.
Didn't Olivia Newton-John do a video game song? I'm getting it mixed up.
Now I don't know. You're outside my territory.
completely out. All right, so mostly her fans are like teenagers, right? That's like a big part of her fan base, and she.
I think
No?
I think her fan base is kind of growing up with her. I think
Yeah.
that a couple of the people around here are Gen Zers, but Gen Z's actually not teenagers anymore. They're starting out on their life and starting on their own. So you're getting like mid to early 20s into the 30s.
So part of the lyrics, recovering alcoholic. You think she's supporting sobriety? That's become more popular these days, by the way.
Yes.
Is that a possibility?
Was she an alcoholic?
I don't know. I
It's just a
cannot
random
speak with
lyric.
authority on that.
Does she always sing about herself though? Is that every song is her? Like, or does she have another voice she sings as at times? Or is it just like every album, every song of everything in her catalog is all about her?
I mean, that's great. I great question because I have no idea. I would think that it's probably all written from her perspective. I would love if she was writing from like different characters of history perspective or something. Like, here's one from Isaac Newton.
John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah. I'd listen to that. That sounds interesting to me. But if you're
Part of
just
growing up.
writing songs about breaking up and stuff like that, I don't know. It's not quite as
Leah
interesting.
says Folklore and Evermore were not about her.
Oh, okay. Allegedly. But, with the amount of money she has, like, there's going to be some point where the songs are going to be unrelated to the regular people. Like, man, don't you just hate it when your $1 million yacht breaks down, guys? Ugh. It's like, I just can't stand it when your private jet has to refuel on a tarmac and you have to wait. Ugh. Guys, don't you know how just terrible this is? There's going to be a point where people realize that they're not even in the same world she is in, but she is definitely going to write songs as if she is,
Well, she
and
needs
take
to just
advantage of that.
keep doing public relationships because then everybody can go, oh, I relate because they see the story playing out.
Yeah, but I don't know. Living in a different relationship than somebody, or different world than somebody has, doesn't mean that you can't relate to them. I mean, look at how people relate to Donald Trump and Donald Trump relates to people. Nobody has
good point.
a solid gold penthouse apartment like Donald Trump, but he's able to, like, if you look at him go out to that bodega or whatever, he's able to meet people where they're at, and he gets what they get.
Ugh.
He understands them, and they understand him. And so
I'm making like 3 times the amount of minimum wage, and I can't afford a solid gold penthouse. What is wrong with people?
I disagree with you, Brad and Ryan, maybe. I want to be able to, every time somebody makes a stupid play, if a Cardinal strikes out, I want to be able to quote their salary at them and say, this is why you suck. Like
Ryan, you could do that on Twitter.
I will.
Just at them on Twitter. It's like, you make this much per swing, and you gave me 3 that didn't touch the ball.
Exactly. I want to be able to do that.
Hey, just take time and effort, man.
Okay, I will. From
is
now
she
on.
still dating the Kelsey guy, you think?
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
they're
they are,
definitely
aren't
still together.
they? Still strong.
yeah.
Are they married yet?
No, not yet.
That's when things change with the albums, right?
Maybe?
The 401ks
I don't
and
know.
the topics. They get married. She starts singing about kids. That would be the next stage in
Receding
her life, wouldn't
hairlines.
it? Receding hairlines, sure. Menopause. Like, what
Mhm.
would be next? Like, and
Yeah.
this is way down the line. Something like that.
Yeah. You know what that song is actually about? Is premenopause. Oh, really? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Start those rumors online. You know what this album is really about?
It's about
have to
hormone
do-
replacement therapy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So overall, the song Taylor Swift music doesn't really resonate with me, honestly. I listen to it and it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's a bunch of random phrases that sound nice together that don't mean anything to me. And the music is just very, I don't know. I don't want to say generic, but she's very talented singer, but none of it is like exciting or good to me. So I just don't see the reason why people go bananas for it.
I have something that will resonate with you. Now those are lyrics.
I'm going out of my mind.
Yeah, I got
with
Pac-Man fever. I'm going out of my mind.
I think the most, like, I don't know, video game-ish best song ever, Pinball Wizard.
No argument there.
Does that count as a video game?
That's
a
tough.
stand-up pinball
Yeah, I know.
machine?
It's tough.
It was as of its time.
You're right.
That was pretty good.
You're right. It's a great album.
Pinball Wizard was good. Are you going to post this to the comment section of the video? People can comment the best video game song.
I think that we need to hear that. Yes.
All right. I would take some recommendations. I'd be curious if someone's got a better one than Pinball Wizard.
It's a weird category. Video game songs. Because they do exist. But
Well, I mean, and we're talking about songs about video games, not
Yes.
songs from video games.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
Songs from video games. There are some hidden gems in
Some
some of
bangers.
these games. Oh my gosh! You listen to it,
Legend
like, wow,
of
this
Zelda.
is really good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the Zelda theme song. You can't get any
That's
better
a good
than
song.
that.
It's a good song.
Oh man. So we will look at some of those comments. I'm drawing blanks. I can't think of too many songs about video games that are out there, but I'm sure people in the comment section will find some. Pac-Man Fever is a good one. Pinball Wizard, that's on the borderline because I don't know. I've never thought of pinball machines as video games, honestly. They're more mechanical than video to me. But what person didn't have Windows 95 and the best game ever on it was the pinball game on it?
Yeah.
Honestly. All right. Can I bring up the Trump trial coming up after the break?
Sure.
It feels like the prosecutor's using the Uno reverse card on Donald Trump here and how I think this is going to really backfire for them. And what an upside down world we live in when St. Louis sweetheart Michael Avenatti calls Trump a victim of the system. And did you see who is getting Republican donors? Senator John Fetterman. Republicans are giving him money. What is this upside down world we're living in? I'm Ryan Rickard, filling in for Andy Fry, 97.1 FM Talk.
To keep my cheeks dry today.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
You know, most people never get to sit down with elected officials and ask them about the important issues. I'm Judge Mike Carter, and that's exactly why I host the news talk program Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter. My goal is to bring those who represent us closer to the people they serve. I ask the questions you would in a no-nonsense manner. That's why we've been able to interview so many top local, state, and federal officials, because as a judge, I offer an unbiased, one-on-one conversation that's hard to find elsewhere these days. Besides serving as judge, I have a journalism degree, which is how the name of the show, Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, evolved. You never know who we'll interview next, from Governor Parson to prosecutors, sports figures to Missouri business leaders. Justice and Journalism with me, Judge Mike Carter, airs on Fox and ABC. You can also watch our past shows at MikeCarter.com, where we ask the questions and let you be the judge.
If you'd like to see more of Judge Mike Carter's interviews on his program, Justice and Journalism, visit MikeCarter.com. That's MikeCarter.com.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I have great investment advice for you. I should preface this by saying I have zero knowledge as an investment advisor. If you're looking to purchase a furnace and air conditioner, we have 0% financing, not on la land, save the world, save the planet systems, just on systems that we need to cool and heat our homes. Simple. If you could do that and buy that with no interest, you're saving thousands of dollars. So call me if you're looking to make an investment in your heating and cooling system and make the best investment that you can for your family, your money, your home. Call me. Did I say call me? Again, call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or the internet, BartInman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, the very latest on the insanity at Columbia University and elsewhere. Also, Sean Spicer on the show.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
To get the feeling right, we started making out, and she took off my pants, but then I turned on the TV, and that's about the time.
Why doesn't Taylor Swift do this music instead?
It's a great question. I'll ask her.
I think there's an Uno reverse card moment here where the prosecutor in the Trump case said, hey, Trump, you're actually the one participating in election interference, after Trump said, no, you're the one that is actually participating in election interference. So, have you been following this trial closely? And there was something I heard on Brian Kilmeade's show before this show here with Andy Fry that really was interesting to me. And the idea was when the trial is being covered, it's from the prosecutor's perspective, which the media is eating up, meaning they're not giving the other side of the trial on this. For the most part, they are saying that Trump has the audacity to break the gag order, to talk in his own defense when he's outside of the trial. And now they're saying the only thing that real journalists should do is only cover what the prosecutor says Trump has done, not his defense. And that was a really interesting point because a lot of the major news networks is exactly how they're covering it. They're like, here's what happened today from the perspective of the prosecutor. But going back to the Uno reverse card, prosecutor says Trump is actually the one who participated in election interference. And I've seen a couple of different articles. Politico did one. I think I saw the AP essentially bring up this point. And the point being that they don't know if jurors are going to buy that, as in saying that, trying to put hush money to a person is akin to election interference. Because if that's the threshold that they're trying to put for election interference, I would say 99.9% of all politicians in the history of politics have then participated in what they would define election interference that would be criminal.
Yeah, you're right about the reverse card because it's putting everybody in a weird situation where you have the prosecution saying to the Trump team, hey, you engaged in election interference by paying this money to your lawyer and this was campaign funds and blah, 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 stuff that's so high level that no American really cares that much. Go ahead.
My understanding is that had they recorded it in their books a little differently, then there wouldn't be any charges.
It wouldn't even be a charge.
Yeah. So what they're trying to say is a felony. 34 of them, is it? They're saying that they're bookkeeping errors and that you deserve 34 felonies for it, which I think is why the prosecution is out over their skis on this one. But
regardless, what they're doing is trying to say, Donald Trump, you interfered with the election in doing this.
Yeah.
And the defense is saying, well, this is normal. If this is election interference, we call this democracy. This is what everybody does in trying to win a presidential election. But the opposite is also true. They're both having to both defend and turn the whole argument on their head, like you said, Ryan, with the reverse card. That then Trump is saying, while that is normal and not election interference, what you're doing is election interference by interfering with the current election, not 2016. Mm-hmm. And then the prosecution is having to defend themselves on those grounds, although they're choosing not to. They're not really saying anything about that. They're letting the media sort of try to carry the water for them.
Well, Ryan, if they're using the quote unquote Uno reverse card, it actually means that Trump's words are hitting home, saying that this is this is election interference. Because if it really wasn't and they weren't landing, they wouldn't need to address it at all. But the fact that they brought it up in the case means that maybe there's somewhere there getting traction.
Can a social media platform engage in election interference?
Well, it depends on what you mean by election interference, because yes, they can, like you and I can interfere with an election by stating our opinions about things. Like we're interfering with the election by doing anything. The question is it illegal, right?
Right. Now, can a government agency engage in election interference?
Yes. I mean, again, is it illegal?
Broadest,
yeah.
Right. Is it illegal? Okay. So this is the point I think would be good to make in something like this. When the prosecutor says that Donald Trump is engaging in election interference because he had information that he didn't want out there and he failed to disclose the information he didn't want out there, and that is, in fact, criminal, I would say that there are several examples of what we saw in that last election that are 10 times worse than the example the prosecution is bringing up in court against Donald Trump, maybe even 100 times worse, between, let's say, the FBI and social media agencies to try to hide information that was damaging to Joe Biden, which we're still seeing in a lot of cases that are damaging to Joe Biden, either with his son or daughter in some of the items around them, let it be a diary or let it be a laptop. I think if we go back to the election before that, the Hillary Clinton fake dossier and some of the money that went around and involved in that. Or how about this? What about just random people like George Soros throwing money into local elections like they saw in St. Louis with the prosecutor and using that as a way to say, well, we're going to put people into office. And instead of changing the laws, we'll just get people in there that don't enforce the laws. And we're going to put our money towards that. Would, let's say, big campaign donors that give money to politicians also be engaged in the same, probably 10 or 100 times worse cases than what Donald Trump is being charged with. And here's one other thing I wanted to mention. Going back to the election between, the 2016 election between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And there was that moment where Donald Trump was the nominee, and it was the Republican convention, and you had Chris Christie up there in the lock her up moment where that brought a lot of eyes to like, oh boy, are you really saying you want to criminally charge your political opponents? And, there was that moment during the debates where Donald Trump even said, yeah, because you'd be in jail. And now we're living in a time where the reverse card was played on him, where he is actually being prosecuted. And we saw the use of that basically reversed onto him after being an advocate for it. I think the point here is, and Donald Trump is right to bring this up, once you open up the floodgates, which he did, it's going to be used against you. Same thing happened when they changed the threshold of the vote. Harry Reid, and let's lower this threshold. And next thing you know, Mitch McConnell's out there saying this is going to come back and bite you one day, and it did come back and bite you. All the people that are prosecuting Donald Trump, and he's saying, guess what, everyone, we're going to come back with a vengeance if this is the game you want to play. I don't doubt him. I doubt this is going to end with Donald Trump. I don't think that he is what some people look at as, a dictator that needs to be taken down and, out of American history this way. I think that this is just basically a floodgate that's going to open up basically every single person that may be deemed undesirable or may have interfered, quote unquote, to be treated the same way he's being treated. And they're not going to like it in the future when they are at the target of it.
Yeah, the problem that it's creating is that this has long been a drumbeat for the left, saying that they don't like the money, and I mean the right too, but they don't like that rich people run the country, run the world, and all this. Well, by using lawfare against your opposing political candidate, what you've done is opened Pandora's box, use the old expression, to where in the future, like you were saying, the only people that will be able to run for office are going to be mega wealthy people. It's already wealthy people, but you sometimes can find somebody who's risen through the ranks who isn't super wealthy who's going to run for president. That will be gone. It will only be like the top 1% of 1% that will be able to run for office because they'll know going in, I'm going to have to just deal with lawsuits.
Well, I mean, Ryan, you were talking about this. You said that this isn't going to end with Donald Trump. People on the left and in the media are already screaming that, look, if Donald Trump gets elected, he's going to weaponize the Justice Department to go after his political opponents. Like Joe Biden's doing right now. Like what's happening right now? That's what you're worried about?
So he's going to treat others like he's being treated.
Right. You all introduced this. Let's, now you're going to roll with it, and now you're distressed about it. Give me a break.
Point. It's a good point because nobody is mentioning that anytime somebody says, well, Trump might do this or that, somebody has got to be right there going, like in your ear, whether it's your producer or it's the devil, in your ear saying, you're doing this already.
Well, is it Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals accuse the other side of what you're doing? That's exactly for Pete's sake, look at how they're acting with the border. They're like, oh, Republicans don't want to secure the border. The Republicans passed H.R. 2 almost a year ago, and it's been sitting in Chuck Schumer's desk drawer for that long, and he hasn't brought it up for a vote. But they want to come back, and they want to be like, but Republicans won't bring up the bipartisan Senate bill for a vote because they already passed a bill.
Speaking of upside down world, when did Avenatti, Michael Avenatti, I'm forgetting how to say his name.
I think it's Avenatti.
I think it's pronounced
Avenatti.
creepy porn lawyer.
Yes.
Yes, creepy. Was that the Tucker
That was
Carlson?
Tucker, yeah.
Calls Trump a victim of the system in interview from prison. What a great tagline. Interview from prison. Michael Avenatti calls Trump a victim of the system as part of the case. Who would have guessed that of all the people that would have came and maybe lent a point to the side of the Trump campaign and Trump as a defendant would be Michael Avenatti, St. Louis sweetheart.
Man,
Who would have thought? Who could guess?
I was listening to those comments, and we have them here if you want me to play them.
Yeah, let's hear one.
I think the case has a lot of problems. Now, that does not, I don't mean to suggest that means that Trump will not be convicted, because I think he will be convicted because number one, he's a criminal defendant, and in our society, I don't believe the criminal defendants generally get a fair shake. In fact, I think that the percentage of convictions demonstrates that the deck is stacked decidedly against all criminal defendants. Number one. Number two, I don't think that he can get a fair trial in New York. And to the people who claim that, in fact, he can get a fair trial in New York with a New York jury, I would ask them if they were to go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow and find out that the case had been moved to Mississippi or Alabama, would they still think that the trial was going to be fair? And I think if they were being honest, they would answer no. So,
can I just say that doesn't sound like him? The voice does not match what I remember. Prison's changed him. Okay, so he's right on those things. And what's the change of heart from his side? Like, when did he start telling the truth?
I don't know that he's had a change of heart. I think he's kind of, in a way, pleading his own case. He's like, I'm actually not supposed to be in here. The criminal justice system is stacked against me. Donald Trump's going through the same thing that I went through. I think this is actually more of a defense of himself than it is of Donald Trump, and he's just using Trump to do it.
Wow. What did Tucker Carlson, what was the bottom scroll way they identified him again?
Creepy porn lawyer.
Creepy porn lawyer. He would say yes to every interview. Remember when he was on like every show every night?
Well, they were asking him to run for president.
I know. They loved him so much. Run for president, Avenatti. Did you see that Senator John Fetterman, Democrat, has been building a roster of Republican donors, according to The Intercept? And they're saying that since his stance, not only on the border, but pro-Israel stance, has then garnered people to give him money for his campaign. Where did that happen to? Republicans backing John Fetterman. This started maybe a couple of months ago, I think, when he essentially stood with Israel and stood with the nonsense of, hey, we shouldn't be supporting the squatters. We shouldn't be supporting lawlessness at the border. We shouldn't be supporting these things. He started talking some common sense things after, being basically called the slob of the Senate. And now all of a sudden Republicans love him because he's on their side.
Well, I mean, he went after Bob Menendez, too. He said this guy shouldn't be in the Senate. He's one of the only Democrats that will go after another Democrat for acting corruptly, which actually is really refreshing. I mean, he's got basically the same standards. He's got standards that he'll go to, and it isn't party over everything. It's standards over party, and there's somebody in his party that had gold bars in his pockets, and he called him out for it and said he should step down, while Republicans were sending George Santos out. And he's like, yeah, they're doing the right thing. We should do the right thing, too, and send Menendez out. But Chuck Schumer won't do it.
Yeah, Menendez. I thought his wife was implicated, too, in this, too. Was that one of the latest ones?
Yeah, they were, and it was, I believe it was Egypt, but it was foreign countries influencing a United States senator.
Yeah, it was Egypt.
Oh, boy. So all of a sudden, here's the world we live in today. Michael Avenatti from prison supporting Donald Trump's case, and John Fetterman looks to be more Republican than Oz was in Pennsylvania. Now as a senator, maybe even as Republican as anyone else on some of these other stances. Is he up? He's not up for re-election anytime soon, so he doesn't necessarily have to give these stances for votes. It's not like it's an election year for him. So it doesn't actually benefit him in a way as a Democrat to do this. But maybe it resonates well in Pennsylvania, and maybe that's just his conscience speaking, and he's doing a good job with it.
I don't know why Republicans, hey, look, I like what he's doing on Israel. I like some of the things he's saying. He's taking a hard stance. But it doesn't mean that Republicans need to start giving him money. I'm willing to bet that whoever runs against him in 2028 or 30 or whatever it is will also support Israel. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. So I don't think you need
Unless
to
he flips parties.
play both sides. Yeah, maybe there's something else at work here.
Right, who knows? But either way, it's just one of those weird world situations we're in here today. All right, well, that's fun. I know you got Fox News behind you, Ryan Wiggins. They've been basically covering the trial continuously
Sort
the course
of.
of this, or
I mean, not really. Jason Chafetz is up right now. I always love seeing guests that we just had on yesterday on Fox.
Oh, cool.
But no, right now it looks like they're more covering the protests.
So they're waiting for opportunities to cover it. Yeah.
The trial is almost like synopsis of the trial at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Got it. All right, you're listening to the Manny Fry Show. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Now is a great time to act on that big spring or summer project you're planning in the backyard with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, mention my name, and receive 20% off an installed outdoor project for the entire month of April. Take advantage of this. You're going to love Chesterfield Fence. They've been around 56 years under the same ownership, and it's the sign you have the very best because they take such pride in what they do. They encourage you to visit their showroom. It's in Chesterfield Valley off 109. They have beautiful displays down there of their fences, their decks, the different options you have with cedar or vinyl. They've also got their pergolas, their sunrooms, their screen rooms, and their patios. They also give you free in-home estimates and free project design. You can't beat that. They are a Better Business Bureau Torch Award winner. Call them at 636-532-4054 or visit them online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Traffic law counselors is where we go when the police hassle us. Go to 45bucks.com.
This is Mike Carter, founder of 45bucks.com, or as you know it, Traffic Law Counselors. And right now, around tax time, we know folks are taking care of issues that they may have been putting off for a while. Maybe a driving while suspended or a warrant, things that you may have been worrying about for a little while. And we specialize in keeping folks' records clean. They come to us on a Monday, they can't drive, and by the end of that week on a Friday, we've got them back in the driver's seat driving legally. And that's very gratifying. And God forbid you're wrestling with something like a DWI. You can go to DWISTL.com. We got 10 paralegals and attorneys that are working on those cases nonstop and depositions, trials, hearings, and we can put that to work for you as well. In fact, it's the enduring success of Traffic Law Counselors that has enabled us to be the preeminent DWI attorneys in St. Louis at DWISTL.com. So now you know if you have a traffic matter, it's 45bucks.com. If you've got a DWI issue, it's DWISTL.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Congratulations to St. Louis Fashion Fund on its 10th anniversary. The fund, a nonprofit and leading voice for St. Louis fashion, represents 800 businesses, as well as supports students, designers, emerging and established brands that collectively generate fashion's $3.3 billion annually to our region. Their year-long celebration will spotlight 10 fashion events to amplify why fashion is so important to the fabric of our community. To learn more about Fashion Fund's 10 for the 10th, visit stlouisfashionfund.org.
Got one of those highly contentious polls for you, just in the fact that we don't know how this is going to shake out. I'd love to know what you think. Do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? yes for both, yes for Ukraine, yes for Israel, or no. Those are your 4 choices. Type in Annie Fry on YouTube. You'll see not only the stream come up, but also that poll. That's how you participate. You can leave a comment there too. 148 now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
We're here to help you get registered to vote, whether you're in Missouri or Illinois. Democracy 2024 on 97.1 FM Talk. If you need help getting registered, go to 971talk.com/vote. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker filling in. Thanks for having me on again. And I always love the conversations when I get a chance to fill in here for Annie Fry. It's always great. And there's a couple of other stories that I thought were interesting, including one on X. Overall, Ryan Wiggins, do you still pay for the check mark on X? I can't remember.
At the very, very beginning, I did because I thought it would be fun. And then I realized that it was not that fun. And paying money is not fun. So I stopped it.
Got it. I decided not to from the very beginning. And, you know, I still use it, but I mostly gather than I don't really use it in a commercial sense. So I don't feel the need to pay for it. But I understand why some people might find it attractive if they're creating content, for example. But either way, there's been a lot of changes on X after it switched over from Twitter. And one of the things that you notice, there's a few things. The community notes are great on X. If you see something that's brought up, you'll find sometimes there'll be a footnote on it that will give better context to what you're seeing. And they are sometimes comical in the way they call out the spin or the nonsense that is trying to be propagated to try to even the playing field. That's something you don't see really on any other social media platform, the way that X handles certain news stories. One of the other things that you'll notice is that there's some pretty explicit things that are posted on there. And a lot of it had to do with the realities of what's going on in the world when it comes to war. Sometimes you would see footage of Israel or Gaza. Sometimes you would see terrorists and how they operate. And there was one instance down in Australia a couple of weeks ago. There was that one terrible news story of a person that was going around stabbing people at a mall that was taken down. And then maybe a day or two later, there was a person that walked into a church, walked down the middle aisle to the front where you had the preacher, and I don't know what denomination it was, but essentially he pulls out a knife and just starts stabbing the guy in the middle of a church service. And I saw this video posted, very explicit. It's not like, so the camera's from the back of the church looking towards the front. And it's not like it was zoomed in and you can get a lot of detail with it, but you absolutely understand what's happening here. The person's getting attacked. Maybe the camera was so far away you couldn't actually see the weapon he was using unless you maybe had it on a full screen. But it just looked like a person attacked him. And then you later realized that this preacher was stabbed a couple of different times. Well, because of the way the laws are in Australia, they don't allow you to post things like that on social media platforms. In fact, in the past, people have gone to jail for posting things on social media, which is a very extreme way to handle things. So what we see now is that the social media, and this is from SBS, I guess it's a news agency, social media platform X has been ordered to remove graphic content related to the Sydney church stabbing. Stabbing attack led to a riot outside the Christ of Good Shepherd Church. Lawyers argue X should be shielded, should shield the footage from all of its users, not just Australians. So the way the laws are written in that country is, you know, we don't want this propagated. This is, you know, not good. So we don't want it out there. Thus, if you're in Australia, you're not allowed to see this. Now they're arguing that, you know what, we have the opportunity as a country to say, this is bad for us, Australians. So we don't want anyone else to see it too. Elon Musk is saying, shove it. You know, we're not going to have to take what the laws are of Australia and then censor this for the rest of the world as if it didn't happen. They say that in general, Elon, it's better to see it if you want to see it and understand what the truth is, because then that way you can come to your own true opinions on things and get a better understanding of the world, as opposed to someone censoring it and then you getting a half of an impression and then you basing your opinion on something that may not be the full truth. Overall, do you think Elon's doing it right? Do you think it's better just to put everything out there and let the person decide?
I understand privacy rights, especially if it's something that is really gruesome that happened to maybe your family member or something that you don't want out there. If it involves a minor, that also changes things. When you're talking about this situation, though, this was a public place, a public event. The person videotaping it had nothing to do with it. All these cases are different, but for the most part, I like that Elon and I like that whoever would run a social media platform would err on the side of as much open free speech dialogue as possible.
Yeah.
Because that has to be sort of the guiding light to what you're doing, because that's literally the business that you're in. So that needs to be first and foremost. Obviously, you're going to find cases where you go, yeah, that probably shouldn't be, but I don't think this is one of them.
Going back to that other story, the person that was jailed, this is 3 years ago. Australians could be jailed for 3 years for hateful social media posts, meaning things that are considered hate crimes. If you post something on social media that may show prejudice against race, religion, sexuality, or gender identity, you can go to jail for posting something like that on social media in Australia. So their threshold is like super low. They will punish you if you post something on social media. It's not just something that's a graphic stabbing, for example. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is Elon Musk has been on record as saying that he will allow whatever on his platform that he can, as long as it's legal. Now, one of the things this is an Australian law, so the question is should he follow Australian law in Australia, or was he just referring to what is legal in the United States when he says that? I mean, that's kind of where I'm curious about this. I don't like Australia's law, but I mean, if Elon Musk is saying he needs to follow the law, then
yeah. I have friends in Australia. They think we're nuts over here. So I asked them what their impression of Americans are. One, they bring up the crazy food we eat. Number two, they bring up the guns. Those are the top two things that people from Australia think about Americans. And, I asked them about their spiders, and they don't care.
It's amazing how much water we have to carry for the world. I like the freedom things that we sort of believe in and then have exported just through media and communications that this is normal. It's amazing how much we keep freedom in the world. And I'm not just talking about boots on the ground kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, ideologically,
yeah.
how much we impact. Because, yeah, we are crazy. I mean, they're not wrong. So we do eat terrible food. But there are things that the world would notice immediately if the United States lost its ground on things like free speech.
And
like
I think the thing is too, that's kind of like ingrained in Americans' DNA. We have that attitude about us, like you can't tell us what to do.
Part of it, I think, is we should be distrustful of the government because we understand they do lie to us. And when the government says, no, you have to trust us in what we're allowing you to see, you should be very skeptical. Some countries are not. They put full trust in belief as if it is a religion. And they say, we'll take because what's best for us type of mentality. And Americans have always rejected that. And I hope they continue to reject that. Hey, government, you know what's best for me. I'm going to let you run my life. That is something I think Americans should reject. All right, I'm Ryan Recker, filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
You never felt this way.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
Visit MikeCarter.com to see Mike's interviews with all of Missouri's elected leaders.
Mike Carter here of Carter Law Offices. You know, as an attorney, I make my way across the great state of Missouri on a pretty regular basis. And from the rivers to the lakes and the Ozark Mountains and the richest farmland around, it's really just a pleasure to travel across the great state of Missouri. And, you know, not to mention, we have the best sports team and the best cities and the friendliest small towns in America, it seems like. And Carter Law Offices wants to make sure Missouri's story gets out far and wide about our excellent business climate, our exceptional workforce. You'll hear more from me soon, Mike Carter.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At the Trump trial. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It happened during a discussion away from the jury at the former president's criminal trial in New York.
Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass identifying the so-called other crime that former President Trump is accused of committing while allegedly falsifying business records.
Fox's Nate Foy at State Supreme Court. Steinglass pointing to a law against conspiring to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office, a misdemeanor. Prosecutors accused the former president of falsifying business records to hide hush money payments and corrupt the outcome of the 2016 election. As day 2 of testimony wrapped up, the former president telling reporters the trial is unfair.
So we're locked up in a courtroom, and this guy's out there campaigning. If you call it a campaign, every time he opens his mouth, he gets himself into trouble.
President Biden is campaigning in Florida and highlighting efforts to protect abortion rights. Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates traveling with him.
The president took a major step to strengthen privacy protections of patients as part of his efforts to protect access to reproductive health care in the face of extreme attacks by Republican elected officials.
19 Republican attorneys general are urging the Health and Human Services Department to ignore the new federal rule, arguing it would interfere with enforcement of state laws. More aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan just clearing a procedural hurdle in the U.S. Senate, setting up the House-passed package for a final vote today or tomorrow. Another day of protests on college campuses.
Students from New York University walked out of class as vocal pro-Palestinian protests continue to disrupt campus. The same is happening with demonstrations at Ivy League schools Columbia, also in New York City, and Yale in Connecticut.
Fox's Gernal Scott. New York City police say outside agitators are among those who've been arrested as tent protests were cleared in recent days. America is listening to Fox News.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. go to LifeLock.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder going through our Tuesday afternoon as a cool front slides by. 70 for the high. Tonight, the winds turn to the northwest, clearing skies. Chilly, 45 degrees. Wednesday, partly to mostly sunny. Wednesday's the coolest of the week, but it's a real pretty day on Wednesday with a high of 68. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot afternoon shower, and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bursati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
The Patriot Training Foundation trains law enforcement and military at the region's top facility free of charge. Kim Sainanj here. We're raising awareness for the Patriot Training Foundation's mission to serve those who serve our nation. Visit 971talk.com/care to learn more.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And I'm Ryan Recker, filling in for Annie Fry. And there's an active poll question out there right now, and I understand this poll is very, very close. What is the YouTube poll for the day?
It is, do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? Yes for both, yes for Ukraine, yes for Israel, or no?
It's
I'm just
incredibly
happy.
close.
Like, I'm just thrilled we're in such a position. We have so much money here that we can just give out all this money to other countries. I mean, we are just completely flushed with cash as a country, and this is no problem, right? So we really don't have to worry about the money going out.
Yeah, it's great. It's always the position that we're in that we can just that's what's great about having the printing press is if you need more money, you can just make it. You just print more money or borrow it from other people who have your best interest in mind and would love to see you succeed.
Your great-grandchildren.
Your great-grandchildren, China.
Just in China, yeah. Who was it? Was it Rand Paul? I love Rand Paul, by the way. But was it him that essentially said, how insane is it that we are giving money to countries we're borrowing money from? It's just so stupid.
Yes.
When it comes to places like China.
Let me borrow money from China to give to Ukraine to fight Russia, who's in bed with China. Okay.
All right. Go vote in that YouTube poll. And I got to say, you guys have really built a fantastic audience based on the amount of comments I'm seeing coming through the video stream. You guys are very active that way. That is fantastic. So congratulations to the Annie Fry Show continuing to build this show. No surprise here because you guys are fantastic. And it's always a pleasure when I get the call, hey, can you fill in? I get made fun of here in Detroit often, and I've been called a food shamer because I make fun of other people's food habits and things. So I'm going to lay out a few examples, and you can tell me if really a food shamer is a good thing or a bad thing. Because when I heard some of their eating preferences, immediately I made fun of them, and they made fun of me for shaming them for that. This one goes back to last year, and I had a coworker who would go to Taco Bell. He would buy crunchy tacos. He would get home, put them on a plate, crush them up with a fork, and eat them like a taco salad. And I said, what are you doing? He did that at work once, too. He brought in the Taco Bell, crushed it up. I said, what are you doing? Tacos are self-contained for you to eat directly. You're not supposed to put it on a plate, crush it up, and eat it with a fork.
Let's be honest, though. Whenever you take that first bite out of a Taco Bell taco, if it's a crunchy taco, it just falls apart anyway.
You have to be very careful. Now,
It's
I
true.
see like I'm an expert at crunchy tacos now. That's all I eat from Taco Bell. And they're $2 now.
I was going to
Where
say,
did that come from?
Yeah, back a few years ago, I could see making those into I don't really like taco salad, so I'm already out of the conversation. But if you liked it, I could see buying 2 or 3 at the time, $1 to $1.25 tacos and getting a nice meal out of that, especially if you're going to crunch them all up like that and make one dish. But now, like you said, we just went a couple weekends ago to a soccer tournament, and we were on the road, stopped at a Taco Bell. So this wasn't around here, but it was out in the middle of, I don't know, either Southern Illinois or Indiana or Kentucky, around there. And we stopped at a Taco Bell, the soft tacos and the hard tacos, $2.59 a piece. Because I thought, we'll just fill up the kid with some cheapo tacos and we'll keep moving. Nope.
No.
$7.50 or above, maybe $8 to get 3 tacos for the boy. Don't love that.
Disgusting. What?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's around here. I haven't checked around here in the last couple months, but man, it was crazy.
I want to put a side note on the food shaming conversation because this is what we argued. Because number one, inflation's tough, right? Inflation has been growing, and the cost of food, the materials to make it, the ability to transport it, and the energy cost and things, everything goes up. And when that cost goes up, so does the cost of the goods that you are selling. But I don't think we should be discounting the cost of labor going through the roof, too. That is also impacting this. And remember all those memes? They're like, if we continue to rise and the cost of labor continues to go up, your food is going to go up too. And everyone said, oh, you're just crazy conspiracy theorist. Look at Sweden. They pay their people so well, and the cost of a Big Mac's the same. So you're just nuts to think that any price will go up when the cost of labor goes up too. Now we're living at a time where a crunchy taco from Taco Bell's $2.50 because of these factors that are putting into it. And none of it was a conspiracy theory. It was just basic economics. It's insane what we're seeing.
I think that there should be a segment that we do at least once an hour of different things that we think might happen. Oh, but that's just a conspiracy theory. And then we look back at it maybe 6 months and see what of it came true.
Yeah.
Because the majority of it probably would at this point.
Right.
I mean, it's been
Now,
a joke for a while.
With the food shaming thing, here's what my other coworker, I'm going to guess he's about 25 years old, single, unmarried, lives in an apartment. And he told me that when he goes out and orders a sandwich at a place, he requests that they cut the crust off. I said, are you a child? You go and you order a sandwich, just regular bread sandwich, whatever it is. Hey, can you cut the crust off? I said that an adult does not do that. He called me a food shamer.
Yeah.
For making fun of him for cutting the crust off at a restaurant.
No, sometimes people need to be shamed, though. Like, I don't know how you could look the waiter in the eye and say, I need you to cut the crust off of this for me. I mean, you're either super elite or super immature. While you're at it, can you peel these grapes?
Yeah. That seems too far. It's
All right,
like
so the
saying, you know
taco
what?
salad
I want to
now.
order a potato skin, but I don't like the skin. You're taking off like a pretty big piece of it. I would be concerned that waiter would say, yeah, I can do that for you. And you come back and that piece of bread
It's like a small square.
is like a quarter of the size that it was. Yeah, I took the crust off for you too. I got a little crazy with the knife there.
Yeah,
but-
I noticed you don't have any of your finest curly straws out. Could you bring a curly straw for my chocolate milk as well? And I said, you're like a child cutting off the crust. Are you kidding? And he said, stop being a food shamer. Don't shame me because that's the way I like my sandwich.
Now, is this the same friend that was doing the taco salad thing?
Two completely different people. Now
Okay.
they've combined their efforts against me. Like they're rallying against me. They're on the same side.
I would say to them, if you're feeling shame, it's because what you're doing is wrong.
What you're doing?
Now
is
hang on.
shameful.
Now hang on. Let's not go there. Because there are things that I do. Now I'll explain this. We did it. We had a big conversation, Ryan Recker, about Dairy Queen blizzards and the fact that my wife would sometimes say, you know what, I want a blizzard, and she'd want a medium or a small one. Well, then I would go get a large and an extra cup. And then I would dish out as much as I could out of that large into the cup size she wanted and either keep the rest for myself or keep the rest for her for a later date. So I'd have to go get her another one. Now, I got a lot of grief for that.
Did any of that grief come from your wife?
I don't remember because I don't know that we had that conversation. It was more of an on-air
you
thing.
haven't talked about it with her
I
yet?
don't remember. I really don't. So the other day, the show Dude Perfect. Does everybody know what Dude Perfect is?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, my kids are really into Dude Perfect. It's like the second biggest YouTube channel in the world or something like that now. And it's cool because it's a bunch of guys and they just do trick shots and they're doing all kinds of, let's see if we can fire this rocket into the like crazy stuff.
Okay.
And they're Christians, although they don't lead with that, but everything's very clean and you can trust that it's all going to be fine. So we love it. So the kids watch this quite a bit. Well, they're also pretty good at marketing. And they are selling stuff in their shows all the time, which is what you have to do. That's part of the game. And they are now partnered with Smoothie King. And I didn't know this, but my kids were very willing to tell me that we had to go to Smoothie King now because they had a Dude Perfect smoothie. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, we get into Smoothie King this weekend. And yes, the Dude Perfect smoothie is there. Yes, it is plastered all over the place. So a lot of marketing happening, all totally fine. But the smoothie is like over $10.
Oh my gosh.
Now it's a big one.
Smoothie?
Yes. And so, of course, each of my kids wants this. Even my daughter likes the show. Not as much as the boys, but she wants one. And then I see a smoothie and I want one. So if I'm going to go to Smoothie King and order these things, it was going to be after tax above like $45
Time
to
out.
get some smoothies.
How big is this $10 smoothie?
It is whatever the size of this.
So like a 40
is.
ounce.
It's a pretty big smoothie.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
not-
40-ounce cup.
Not quite 40, but I'd say close to
Okay,
it.
let's call it 32.
And you get to keep the cup.
Okay.
Okay, so that's part of it. So
It's a reusable
Yeah.
metal?
no, it's not metal. It's plastic, but it's one of those that you end up throwing in the bathtub and the
Yeah.
kids use that as a bathtub
You
cup.
you put it in your garage and use it to scoop the salt or something.
Exactly. It's one of those. So it lasts a couple years and then it's going to fall apart. But it's cool. You get to keep the cup, especially when you're a big fan of the show. So instead of getting 4 smoothies, I said, okay, kids, these are pretty big. Let's get 2, and each of us gets half, or we'll get cups and share them out. Now, do I get shamed for that? Because it seems to me like that was just very economical.
Question. Would your kid have finished a 32-ounce smoothie or a 40-ounce smoothie?
Very possibly at least gotten close to it.
All of them would have?
I know I would have. Personally, I would have drank
I know
one.
you would have, but I'm asking about your kids, the Twiggins and...
One of them probably could have.
So one of them.
2 of them might have.
Might have. So
now the littlest one wasn't. But.
Definitely not on the littlest one.
Yeah.
It's different to me because you're being upfront with them, and you're being economical in the sense that you're not going to be wasting the smoothie. So the idea is not to necessarily to save money, but it would be wasteful to get a 40-ounce smoothie for a kid that's not going to finish it.
This is kind of the same mentality as the hand-me-downs with the kids. You know, you don't want the older brother's shoes. You want brand new shoes. So when you go to some place, you want to be the one that has it's not necessarily a status thing, but it feels good to have something that's complete, packaged in a way, and you don't mind paying $10 when someone else is paying for it. And the price is irrelevant when you're a child. You just like the idea that you are getting this fully packaged thing that you saw on television that was marketed to you directly as a child. What I can say when it comes to some of these things, $10 milkshake, you think they're selling out of these things? Like, is it like, what's the Prime drink? What was the one water that the kids liked for a while that was selling out? Yeah.
Liquid Death.
The Stanley Cups were selling out too. It's kind of like a thing that people go crazy for a little bit and then they lose interest in it. This is just, it'll be fast lost interest. The generic whatever afterwards going to taste just as good as the $10 one, and no one's going to want the $10 one at a certain point.
Yeah, well, I think that's true, but I also think that it's possible that even a regular smoothie of that size at Smoothie King might cost about $10.
Incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I will thank you. I want to thank you to all of the chat who's reaching out, and I want to highlight these. Jackie saying smart Wiggins.
Yeah, you described a completely different situation.
Amanda saying completely acceptable. That's how we roll too.
The other one was deceitful, and then you were just giving her part of the fresh shake so that the next time, whenever she wanted another blizzard, you could go into the freezer and get the one that had been frozen for however long that time period was, which prompted us to try day-old blizzards on the show, and then week-old blizzards and whatnot.
How do you think those turned out, Wrecker?
Great.
Have you had day-olds or week-old blizzards?
All the time.
Not as good.
No, they're no big deal.
They take one step down after fresh, and then they just about stay there.
Yeah, but that one step down is one step down.
It's one step down.
Does Mrs. Wiggins not deserve the best?
I'm not going to frame this argument in that way. I disagree with your premise.
It doesn't take a step down. It tastes exactly the same after. You think it tastes worse?
Oh
after
yeah,
roast?
it gets freezer burn for sure.
What do? Do you like just eat it straight out of the freezer, or do you let it sit on the counter for about an hour so it thaws?
You gotta let it sit a little bit,
but it still separates in the freezer. You get those ice crystals on top, and it's just not as good.
Yeah.
I had some other things I wanted to bring up to you, but I know we're running out of time. And this is only a thing that dads do, Wiggins, and I was going to bring that up to you. Maybe we save that for later. Do you see that one story about the breastfeeding mom that was kicked out of the comedy show?
I did now.
Well,
no.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
And I pretty much type in breastfeeding mom at the beginning of every show, too, and I didn't even see that.
Every show, you just need to check in real quick and see if there's been any news.
Yeah.
Are you saying your Google alerts aren't working on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to do that. I just like typing it in.
Yeah, you're at the computer. Let's see. It's so fascinating. IT tech will come in and be like, man, there's a lot of people searching breastfeeding moms on this computer. I don't know what's going on.
It's always
with
when Wiggins logs in.
It's such a strange thing. What is going on with that? Maybe we could talk about that. There's another story from The Intercept, and they asked the question, why are journalists on TikTok to begin with? Like, what are you going to accomplish on a platform like that? Is that even a place for journalists? And then I saw this, probably the creepiest of all mugshots.
Oh, man.
And the headline, trans sex offender busted allegedly trying to abduct elementary school kids. And when you see the mugshot of this person, it's so much worse than what you're imagining in your head. And it's probably what you're in your head is probably bad enough. So we got a lot to get to on the show here today. And I got to say, there are so many other things I wanted to talk about. I just don't know how much time we have, but we're going to try to fit it all in. Plus your poll comments. We're going to look at those in the view on the YouTube poll. We'll get to all of those things this hour. I'm Ryan Recker, filling in 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Calling all bobblehead collectors and animal lovers. This is one you won't want to miss. Join us at the ballpark on Saturday, May 4th, when the Cardinals host the Chicago White Sox and the 19th annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark. That day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a bobblehead of Adam Wainwright with his lovable retirement gift, his new pup Louie, courtesy of Purina. For full details, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Adam Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Fashionistas, be ready. The high-demand Cardinals purse giveaway returns to Busch Stadium on Sunday, May 5th. That day, the Cardinals host the White Sox, and 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home an exclusive Cardinals purse, courtesy of Edward Jones. This tan handbag features a gold metal chain and a mystery bonus strap. Following the game, kids 15 and younger can participate in the Haichu Kids Run the Bases. Full details at cardinals.com/promotions.
All right, football fans, the NFL Draft is almost here, and the free Odyssey app brings you the latest coverage from the biggest sports radio stations across the country. Which players will help your team the most? Who will make a draft day trade? Will they be ready for week 1? The local conversations about the team you love. All on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Download it today.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. Anytime, anywhere. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back. I'm Ryan Recker, and yeah, the poll is very close on the YouTube page right now. If you want to go vote for that, you better go do it soon. And I got to say that we talk about the poll. I can't say I've ever once gone and voted on the poll while I'm hosting. Should I be doing? Does Annie normally vote on it while she's hosting?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know if she can vote because when you create the poll, I don't think you can vote in your own poll.
Oh, I got you.
Well, that's true, but you can log in from a different account and vote. That's usually what I do.
So you're saying I should have multiple burner accounts ready at any time?
Yes,
So I can
and
pushes our numbers
subscribe
up.
all of them to Annie Fry's YouTube page.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all 1,600 of them.
I got it. I don't know which one to talk to here. I've got a couple of stories, and this is a choose your own adventure. We can talk about TikTok and journalists on TikTok. We can talk about that as a social media platform, or we can talk about the breastfeeding mom that got kicked out of a comedy club. Which one sounds better?
Number
I'll
2.
All right. Breastfeeding mom kicked out of a comedy club. She was there. And number one, why would you bring your child that is of breastfeeding age into a setting like a comedy club where it's loud and people are drinking and people are trying to enjoy the entertainment, the show, where it's reliant on you to hear what they're saying on stage? It's not just like a visual cue where you're watching a field.
That was my question number 1. Thank you.
What's that?
Why would you bring a baby to a comedy club?
Yeah. Oh, you got a bell? Where did that come from?
Oh, right there.
You just have one in case you need it.
Yeah.
So she was kicked out. And apparently the person that was on the stage was like, when you're doing a comedy show, you got the lights on you. You can't really see the audience all that well. So you can't really see, like, all you know is someone's causing a disturbance and it's ruining the experience for the people around them. And you normally have hecklers and you tell them to stop. And if they don't stop, you get them kicked out. So in this case, she was ruining it for a lot of different people. Kicks the woman out. And then with solidarity, some of these other people inside of the audience say, how dare you do that to a woman who is trying to feed their child at a comedy club? And she goes out and it causes this ruckus. Well, the local news media decides to bring her on and wanting to hear her side of the story. And can't you be more understanding and sympathetic to moms? What, do you hate mothers? Of course you do, you comedian, you. So she goes on this, and it kind of backfired when she got to the interview. Can we play some of that clip?
Is that why you were really keen to go to the show?
Yeah, it is. And you feel really isolated, you know, when you have kids and you're sort of, you lose yourself because all you do is really cater to them. And, you know, having kids is a choice, obviously, but that doesn't mean it's an easy thing to do. But, yeah, and you do lose a lot of things, you know. People lose friends. They get, they lose out on doing things that they've always enjoyed. I'm going to expose myself here. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be really nice to do something that I hadn't done in a while. And just sort of get back to sort of a pre-baby me. She's
and hey,
super cranky right now.
Okay, maybe she can go to Dad just for a quick second. But like, you know, a mum with 3 little kids,
try.
I reckon you need a laugh.
Be careful.
Awkward laugh.
Hard to conduct an interview. And that was what, 25 seconds of crying? So
Yeah.
you kind of understand where the comedy club was. You ruin it for all the people around you. It was a comedy festival in Melbourne, and this is in Australia. So you kind of get why maybe they asked her to step out when the baby was crying.
Well, yeah, but I do understand what, and I was actually going to say this before she said this, that when you have a baby, I'm just thinking back to, and obviously I was not the mom in the situation, but we had twins, and we felt so landlocked that whole first year that we tried to do stuff as much as we could. I can't say we went to nightclubs or comedy. Now, maybe if it was a festival, it was a little different, because if you have a comedy festival, it could be all day or something.
Yeah.
But we tried to do as much as we could with the kids because we would get it was so strange because you'd get so overwhelmed by everything and also bored at the same time. And so going out and doing the same things we were doing at home but just somewhere else was so freeing, or at least had the perception of feeling like maybe we were free for a minute, that I get trying to do stuff with a kid, with a baby. I don't have any
it
problem
has
with
to be
that.
appropriate where
But
other
yeah.
people around you understand, meaning that you're doing an act or you're going to a place where perhaps you understand that kids will act this way, so you can't get mad at them for acting that way. But when you go to a place like I don't know, a comedy show or a live performance where someone is speaking, and you're there to listen to what the person has to say and enjoy it as entertainment or whatever it may be. And when you take away from that, you realize that maybe that's not an age appropriate thing. And bringing a 7-month-old that's going to be crying in front of everyone else and getting offended when they ask you to step out while the baby's crying, they backfire and say, this mother is so entitled. And I would say that is somewhat the case. You got to understand that's going to happen when you're not in an appropriate place. Honestly,
Yeah, well, and in this comedy show, and listening to the clip and pulling the audio, one of the things that they do say is that the comedy show was for those that are 15 and older. So this baby didn't meet the minor age requirement and stuff like that. But I get where the mom's coming from. You're isolated, you're landlocked. She said that all she ever does is breastfeed. She doesn't have formula. She doesn't do any of that other stuff. So she can't be away from the baby. So she couldn't have gotten a sitter and gotten some time away or anything like that. But I'm kind of with Ryan here. You got to find appropriate places to do this. And
yeah, because I would make the same argument even if it was age appropriate, even if it was very clean comedy. I mean, church is a great example.
Yeah,
you don't want parents to not bring their babies to church. You want them to come. But if you're in a service and the baby's just going nuts, you do expect that the mom is going to step out for a second because everybody else is there to hear the sermon, or in this case, the comedy, the show. You can't interrupt their time just because you're trying to create time for yourself. You do have to be respectful of others.
let's say this now, hypothetically. Again, I'm not a expert on breastfeeding, but when the baby was 7 months old, are you saying you're not pumping, storing some of that breast milk that could be used when you're not around? I mean, are you saying that even at that age, it's necessary for you to only be there to get it straight from the tap?
Well, I can tell you now we are into territory that I know nothing about. I don't even remember. We used formula so much because we having twins. It was like we can't keep up. You can't
run
keep
out
up.
of supply. You got to supplement.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where we're at right now.
Well, I tried pumping to help, and it didn't do anything.
You know, such a strange thing to try. And when did you finally figure out it wasn't going to work? Was it like day 3, roughly?
No, it was much later than that.
Like
I mean,
I
was very devoted to trying, and it just did not do what I thought. It ended up being more. Never mind. I was gonna.
Honey, I tried. I tried. By the way, Dad Talk, Wiggins, I got a question for you. We eat a lot of sandwiches in our house, so we go through bread like crazy. Every morning, I make my kid donkey eggs, so making some toast for that. I make a sandwich for work when I go in later in the night. Use bread for that. Kids eat grilled cheese sandwiches. We go through a lot of bread. As a dad, do you feel that your obligation to eat the end pieces of bread? And because I think about it, man, I would throw away so much bread, the end pieces, if we didn't do that. I don't like the end pieces, but I feel like it saves us so much money for the dad to eat it. Is that just the dad's job to eat the end pieces of a loaf of bread?
No, you don't have to eat that, Ryan. I don't know why you think
toss
you do.
them?
Yeah, I either toss them because it depends on how the cut is. If the cut's like a decent piece of bread, I might use it in a sandwich and just make the kids get over it. It's peanut butter and jelly. You're gonna like it anyway. Here's the other thing. I feel bad about this, but I do have one kid who he tries to be the best at everything and kind of I'll do it. If nobody else will do it, I'll do it. You know, he tries to be the good one.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a piece of bread like that and I'm like, nobody's going to want the end piece, he'll just go, I'll eat it, even if he doesn't want to do it, just to be the nice one.
Yeah.
And I always take him up on it. So I'm like, yeah, okay, go right ahead.
Yeah. And it's not like we're getting good bread. If you go to like a bakery and they have a nice Italian bread and the end pieces are awesome on that. I'm talking, off the shelf at a grocery store. End pieces are always soggy and they're thin sliced and not all that great. But I feel like we'd run out of it. It sounds like you are living the rich life. That's one of the poor luxuries is throwing out the heels of a slice of bread. That's a poor luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we feed them to animals. We're so rich.
We
Give
take
them
the
to the
ends
birds.
to the park, give it to ducks.
Yeah. Here, we just
Let 'em
hold our
dry
hands out.
I
Eat
saw this
among
one.
us.
Am I not kind?
Yeah.
I saw this survey that people are willing to go into debt to go on vacations during the summer. Is that smart? Because my wife would agree that it's a good idea to go into debt to go on vacation because the experience, you can't get that time back. Once the kids are young, or that's the one thing you can't buy with money when you have it later down the line. So spend it while you have it now to go take the vacations, do this, do that. But apparently they did a survey and they found that, what was it, a third of people don't have money for vacations, but they go on vacations anyway, or a half of the third or
This
something.
stuff's going to
That's
catch
a
up with
large
us.
percent.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is going to catch. I mean, it might be now catching up with us. People are going to start declaring bankruptcy. I have a feeling that 2024 and 25 are not going to be pretty years for the economy.
No.
For the American consumer. But no, this is a bad idea. This is the definition of a luxury item. Like, don't do. I get the argument that, well, the kids are young. We got to have some experiences. But they're not going to know the difference between going. I said the other day, like, to my 6-year-old, hey, every year I take one of them on some sort of special little something. And it's the 6-year-old's turn this year. And I said, where do you want to go for your special dad thing this year? And he said, well, I want to do one of two things. I want to go to either Legoland in California, or I want to go to the Arch. And I was like, well, those are two very different things. But in his mind, he just saw them both as cool things. He doesn't think about all the logistics or the money. And so the kids, you can do experiences with kids right up until they're probably in their almost teens that they're not really going to know a huge difference.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Down in Florida, Orlando, they got that Legoland and Peppa World that are together combined. That's an affordable vacation compared to a Disney.
True.
Disney is so expensive now. And it continues, and it's always been expensive. But California, why would anyone want to go out there?
Well,
Even
because
kids.
we've been to the one in Florida, and so I think he's thinking, oh, I want to go to the other one now. So
Oh, you already been to the You've been to the Florida one?
we
Was
have.
it fun?
We have. It was during the pandemic. It was like early 21. And we went to Florida because it was Florida, it was open. And yeah, it was fun for that age group. I would say that the reason I would want to take him now is because you get to about 10 years old and you're aging out of Legoland. It's for littler kids.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Bummer. We got a mini Legoland up here. We're going out on a mini vacation. You want to hear how cheap I am?
Yeah, I do.
So, Mackinac Island is a very expensive island.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's super expensive. We're talking like $300-$400 a night at the hotels at these places. Very expensive. It's an island that has no cars. So you take a ferry from the northern tip of Michigan, kind of where the bridge is, a little bit to the east of the bridge. And then you take the ferry to the island, and it's all horse-drawn carriages and such. There's no vehicles. With one exception, there's only been a vehicle. But they definitely pay a premium for how beautiful it is out there. I get an email from their people, and they say, hey, we're opening the island for the season. If you want to come and cover it as a news story, we'll give you a night and we'll pay for your ferry and hotel. And I said, here's the deal. If I can bring the family and you make it 2 nights, it's a deal. And they said, sure.
Wow,
So
cool.
we're going up to Mackinac
that'll be
later
fun.
this week. And then I'll cover some of the opening of the island and get to enjoy the rest. Now, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd ever be able to afford the $400 a night or whatever it is to stay at some of these hotels and things. And it's the same thing in Disney. It's like anymore, you're thinking to yourself, man, how do I not go into debt and still have a good vacation anymore?
Yeah, if you can get a free vacation, you should absolutely take that thing, especially at Mackinac Island. You're going to ride the bike around it?
Yep, absolutely.
That's the best part. It's very fun.
You've been up there,
Yeah, when I was in my mid-20s, my parents went on a vacation. I went, and we all did it.
Beautiful up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Nice little trip. Or the Arch. They picked one or the other.
Or the Arch. Yeah. Or I want to see the Mississippi River. Oh, okay.
Bloody Mississippi.
Yeah.
You should have told them, we were saving all that money for vacation, but instead we bought you some Smoothie King.
Right.
And then that really took all our vacation money down the drain. I'm so sorry.
Hey, you
kids.
wanted the dude perfect smoothie.
You wanted the dude perfect smoothie. All right, so should journalists be on TikTok to begin with? TikTok probably going away. And maybe the creepiest mugshot of all time, a trans sex offender busted allegedly trying to abduct elementary school kids. In your mind, if you haven't seen this mugshot yet, you may have an impression of what this person may look like. It's worse than that. I guarantee you it is worse. So we're going to talk about those things as we get ready to end the show and the last chance to go vote in the poll, right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll share that mugshot on our YouTube stream. So if you're in an area where you can get to the YouTube stream and check it out, please do. It's going to be wild.
It's, oh boy. All right, I'm Ryan Ricker, filling in one more time coming up on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Frustrated with slow internet speeds? Missouri is set to spend more than $1 billion to bring broadband internet to locations without service. You have until April 23rd to submit evidence that service has been incorrectly reported for locations that should be marked as unserved and eligible for funding. To check service reported for your home or business, go to broadbandmap.mo.gov. That's all one word, broadbandmap.mo.gov. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Economic Development.
It's no secret many Americans are facing economic hardship. And if you have unpaid taxes to the IRS hanging over your head, high increasing interest rates and inflation are driving what many owe to insurmountable levels. At Community Tax, we specialize in resolving your tax problems with the best possible solutions. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, relief programs are now being made available for delinquent taxpayers that can reduce what you owe and give you a fresh start. Our relief services are top-rated by the Better Business Bureau and Consumer Affairs, reducing over $1 billion in tax debt for people just like you. If you have liens, levies, wage garnishments, or are under audit, we can help. And whether you owe $10,000 or hundreds of thousands, you may qualify for significant savings. Call Community Tax for your free consultation at 800-218-5085. 800-218-5085. That's 800-218-5085.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Hey, we're going to talk about this poll here in just a minute, but we want to know what you think if you haven't voted yet. Do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? There are 4 options: yes for both, yes for Ukraine, yes for Israel, or no? We'll give you the results of that poll along with some of your comments and, of course, our comments and thoughts as well here in just a minute. It is 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, good Tuesday afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. We're getting set to go here after 3 o'clock. More college chaos across the country. The latest on the Ukraine-Israel aid vote and Biden's Charlottesville moment. All that and more coming up after Fox News.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
You know, sometimes I just see headlines and I don't care to read the rest of the story, but I can judge everything off of the headline. There's some crazy things going on in the world today. Talking about social media platforms. Well, I guess this is more of a dating app, Grindr. So it's for men seeking men, and they're getting sued for sharing users' HIV status with ad firms. Is it a prerequisite that you have to disclose that to be on the platform? Like when I've never signed up for a social media platform like Facebook, for example, and it said, please list your diseases.
Yeah, I don't know. I really wouldn't know. I've never used Grindr. Brad?
I'm not sure either.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I take the pitch. And Ryan's like, don't worry, I got it, Brad.
I saw him
I'll
looking
get
at
you.
me. I saw him looking at me.
I did. If you're watching, I did the batting stance and then the head watching the pitch go by. I looked at Ryan. I did that motion, and then Ryan went ahead and did that.
I mean, it's just the news. We're just talking about the news here, and I've never used the website, so I don't know, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's just a weird thing that they would know that. I mean, that seems like a pretty private thing. You wouldn't want to let a tech company know about.
Yeah, but it does
Definitely
seem
can
like
sell
something
yourself.
you would want to know if you were going to hook up on Grindr.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you
Well,
want to
why
know
not
that
any of
if,
these
even if it
dating
was
apps?
just that, but any of the other dating apps?
I mean, yes, and
I
yes.
mean, I mean, for me, preferably, I would prefer that you wait until you're married and you have a spouse, and then this is less of an issue.
Yes,
But-
it
So what's
is
the
an
other
issue.
one? The Tinder?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Was it there too?
I don't know. I've
Do
never
they ask
used
for it on
Tinder.
Tinder? Probably not. What about the farmer needs a wife or whatever?
Yeah.
Do
I
they
don't
ask
know,
that
Ryan.
on there?
I've had many gentlemen suitors on farmerdating.com or whatever.
Farmerdating.com.
Start giving blood samples to sign up. They'll know everything about you. Okay, here's the other one on TikTok. Probably going away, right? TikTok in a year or so, they're probably not going to sell. I guess they could, but probably not. And once they go away, is anyone really going to miss it? I mean, hypothetically speaking, people have VPNs. They can probably fake that they're somewhere else if they really want to still see the comments or the content that is on there. But doesn't almost like 90% of the junk that's posted on there get repurposed on YouTube anyway? So, like, is anyone really going to miss the content of that?
I can confidently tell you that none of us are going to
I'm
miss
not
it.
going to miss it.
But
No.
but I do think that there are people who have made. I mean, I do feel bad for one group of people, and that is those who have made a livelihood on there. That if it just snapped, gone, all the work that you did, because that takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for all the reasons that we've talked about many times, support that ban. I mean, there's no doubt
Yeah.
that is a nefarious website.
It feels like it's a weapon.
Yeah, and not just to
Oh,
take
yeah.
people's data.
No, like
I mean
to
like
shift the culture.
reprogram people's minds, especially kids. It's such,
Well, where
it's
do you think a
mess.
lot of these protest organizing events are coming from? They're happening on TikTok. I saw a
interesting.
really good video where a guy showed how with a minimal amount of money you could create a protest that would shut down the Beltline in DC. And he just walked everybody. He's like, this is how you would do it. This is how much it would take. Here's how you can use geofencing within TikTok to make sure that only the people there, and you could target the type of individual that would be susceptible to this. He's like, it's an absolute weapon, is what this guy said, and he's a defense contractor.
Wow.
Yeah. And it doesn't surprise me, too, that TikTok itself, in the case from The Intercept, is the website that put this up. Forget a ban. Why are journalists using TikTok in the first place? Let's put it this way. Does any journalist, knowing what they know and should know about the security risks on that platform, think that anything that is transmitted through there is private? Meaning that if someone were to send you a message, and let's say as a journalist, it's sensitive information, you're using it to write an expose on whatever it is. Now, guess who also knows it? China. So that's why people and serious people don't use TikTok. It's a bunch of teenagers that don't understand the gravity of just how serious these threats are for a platform like that.
I mean, if you're a serious journalist, you're probably not on TikTok anyway for the reasons you just outlined. So the people that we're calling journalists, I don't know that they're really making that much of an impact. They're more like people who get on and share, a 10-second thought on Joe Biden. A lot of these people are paid influencers too.
Yep. The other story is this mugshot that is circulating around, and I saw this posted in a few different spots. The headline, trans sex offender busted allegedly trying to abduct elementary school kid. Have you seen this mugshot yet, Wiggins?
I haven't. No, this is, whoa.
Let's bring it up on the YouTube page.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
the mugshot.
Is that
Tell me
person,
that's not
that looks
worse
like
than what you had in your mind.
That looks like a corpse photo.
Yeah, that's
It looks
pretty
like
bad.
a video game NPC,
Yeah.
zombie almost.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know what I'm looking at here. So the person almost looks like their teeth are on sideways. And they have, is that white powder on their face, or is that just like the way their skin is?
I
don't
can't
know.
tell.
Yeah, because it
It looks
stops
like
right at
a-
the beard.
It stops at the cheeks, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't see it on the neck. It's a black male, and his eyes are red. The teeth, again, are on sideways. And the look on his face almost looks like a video game zombie. It's the only way I can explain it.
It is
Maybe
a very,
the person's on
it's a
bath
very
salts or something.
blank stare.
This
Yeah,
person
and
is
apparently he-
also identifying as trans?
Yep,
Because that doesn't
33
come
years
through
old.
at all. Okay.
Because they because there's no indication
Yeah.
that they are trying anything, or at least trying at all. But apparently surveillance video caught this person approaching students moments before they scattered screaming stranger danger. This is an elementary school. The person was approaching them. What a, the white vans and, hey, I need you to help find a puppy, can you hop in days? This is like
You
clear.
you couldn't write a villain like this person. You couldn't
No.
design one.
I guess the
See
good
that
news
YouTube
is
page. Oof.
that even a kid who sees that guy is
Stranger.
going to go, no thanks. No, I don't want anything that you're offering. I will go away now.
Yeah. This is like, if you're walking down the street and this person is walking on the other side, you're like, we're going on the other side of the street type of thing. We're not even going to risk an encounter with this person. They just, from the looks alone, scary. All right, before we go, I know we've got a lot of time. How did the YouTube poll results turn out?
Well,
Well-
do we want to give our own before?
Yeah, let's go. Where are you at on this, Ryan Wiggins?
Ryan Wiggins, that's me.
Read the question again, if you could.
Do you support the foreign aid package passed by the House? This is a tough question because there is a part of me that wants to support Ukraine. I don't support Russia. There is a bigger part of me that wants to support Israel. Ultimately, I landed on no. I don't want to be spending this money, even though I do support Israel, especially in that war on Ukraine to a lesser degree. But I just can't justify continuing to spend the money. And also, I'm going to say something that's rather unpopular here, even though as I'm a very, very staunch supporter of Israel as a nation, especially. Israel is not poor. Israel is not a poor nation. I don't know why we would need to financially support them, even though I do support them.
Interesting.
What about
Okay.
you, Ryan?
I would say I'm at the point where I think we need to pump the brakes on Ukraine. I think we've been doing it long enough in the sense that we can't put a blank check and allow to finance this forever and forever and ever. Israel, on the other hand, I say yes. I would continue to support Israel in this case. When I think about the people that are our enemies in the world, I don't like Russia. I don't like Iran worse. I think Iran is worse than Russia when it comes to threats to the United States. So I think that in that case, I would pick Israel and continue to support them. I would start to say, Ukraine, you got to figure this out because the blank check ain't working.
All right, so with 231 votes, the lowest at 18% was yes for Ukraine. Yes for both was at 22. 29% was yes for Israel, and then at 31% it was no, not at all.
Wow, that is very
How
evenly
about
split.
that? All right, sounds like Annie Fry is going to be back again tomorrow. The Manny Fry Show. I always have fun. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Mark Reardon coming up next.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have